maze. And in that maze, there's many challenges. Are you ready to survive the bramble?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, take him to the bramble maze. Thank you very much. Now, don't you go anywhere. You stay here right with me, because we have a little bit more to talk about.
Trust me.
Oh, don't go anywhere.
Dude.
Okay, going straight. We're going a little bit to the right.
Now, what Boba doesn't
Going a
know
little
is
bit to
the
the right.
hazards in the bramble maze are all
now
played
you're
by
gonna put your
Team
legs
Gaming,
feet close
who
together.
are not very
close
happy
together.
with him right now
Okay.
for some different reasons.
more.
So
Okay,
let's go ahead and go
good,
through
good.
the bramble maze and see if Boba can make
Stay
it
there
through.
for now and don't
Are you
stop.
guys ready to cheer him on?
Yeah, we're cheerleaders.
Go Boba. All right, let's head on into the bramble maze. Boba, welcome to the maze. In front of you is a series of challenges that you, the Dark Willow, must pass to kill the support. Follow my voice and you will survive. Moustrix, spin him.
One.
All right, into the Shadow Realm, Dark Willow goes. Her ultimate, her powers are charging, and now she's ready. Stop. Okay. All right, Boba, you're gonna need to go straight through the bramble maze. Go. You're gonna have to push through a bramble. Start walking. Push through the brambles. They're in your way. You don't have to crawl over. Push through them, Boba.
Dude.
Through the brambles. Yep, kick them out of your way. Yes, the brambles, they're hurty, but they're good. Oh no, it's Tiny. Look out.
Ow.
Oh, don't aim for his head, Tiny. Let's go. Tiny, coming in. Oh no, he's going through Nix's ass. Stop, Boba, stop, Boba. Boba, stop. Okay, turn to your right, Boba, to your right. You gotta crawl through Nick's assassin's burrow. To your right, Boba, to your right. Crawl, Boba. Crawl through Nick's assassin's burrow, but be careful, Nix is back there. He'll grab your... No, Boba, go back, Boba. You gotta go through the bramble. That's it. No, through the cave, to the left, Boby. No, left. No, that's right. Go around.
Dude, I'm going left.
No, that's all right. Here we go,
Come
buddy.
on.
Okay, this way to the right. Down, Boba. Down low. Crawl through Nick's assassin. Nick's assassin, go. All right. Oh, but be careful. You're in Bane's nightmare zone. He's trying to grab you now. You must push through Brain. Don't touch Elder Titan. Keep going straight. Other way. That's it. All you have to do is make it through Earthshaker now. To the right, Boba. To the right. Straight. Look out for Earthshaker, the fissure. Push through. No, to the left, Boba. To the left. Push through Earthshaker. He's trying to stop you now. This is your last challenge. Push through. Yes! Boba, you made it. Take off your glasses. Take them off. No, Boba, stop. They're sensitive. Stop, Boba. Boba, stop. Take off your glasses. Boba. No. You've done it. You've killed the support. You killed Earthshaker, Boba. Take him out. Oh, it's over. Yes. You've done it. You've survived the bramble maze. Well done, Boba. Thank you so much. What an amazing experience for everyone. We're all very proud of you. Thanks for watching. Official major. Bye.
Ready. Steady. Game on. Coming up next, Evil Geniuses versus Team Liquid.
Welcome back to Bucharest for live coverage of the Bucharest Major. It is quarterfinal time once more. We've had two. We've got a third for you this afternoon, or rather nearly this evening as well here in Eastern European time. And we've saved the best till last as well. It's a fantastic matchup. If it's just anything like the group stages, it's going to be terrific. And it's Team Liquid versus Evil Geniuses. We've had a little change on our panel. We welcome a man who has plenty of experience in the Dota 2 world. He is a man that was the co-founder of Dota Cinema, obviously ran Dota Cinema. You know him as a Dota Cinema man. He also founded Digital Chaos, who finished second at the International, and he invented a meme all of his own. And it's quite appropriate, actually, because we were inviting someone else here, but at the last moment, we've been Suns fanned.
That's quite the intro. Thank you so much. Wow, the crowd is very favorable here. They don't have very good taste, it seems, but
similar to your taste in ties.
I don't know. Oh, okay.
That tie is magnificent, Cap. What are you talking about?
I'm very happy to be to my first major here, Cap. All right. This is indicated by the smiley faces on the tie. Tomorrow's, though.
Really?
We're gonna have to get a nice
Are you
zoom
stepping
in.
it up?
Oh, tomorrow's gonna be. It's gonna be a real.
Wow, that's hot right now, Shannon. I like that a lot.
Thank you.
I can't even imagine what tomorrow looks like. Let's get into some serious business, shall we? E.g. Liquid. Like, if we could pick one game out of the group stage and you show that to like a friend who's kind of on the border, doesn't really know too much about Dota, and you go, I want to show you what Dota can be, you would give them that match, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I think anytime you get to see a PL go late game, I think personally it's very fun to watch, especially when Miracle, I believe, went to level 25 talent. The Doppelganger one, which you don't really see that often, but it was recently buffed, and I wanted to talk to you about this, Cap, as well, once we get more into detail into this match, but I've never personally seen that picked up versus the crit. He tried to make up for it with the Bloodthorn, didn't work out. I don't know if it's because of that choice.
I've seen a couple other players before him pick it up, and it just seems like they really value this non-stop reset. You know, where it's like, oh, we finally found the real one. Oh, all right, we have to play the shell game again, where it's like, oh, which one is it? You know, like they have to constantly do that.
I mean, he was very annoying in those fights.
Yes.
Right? It was just an endless battle trying to chase him down. But the issue that I found, and you know, I'm an expert in everything because I'm an analyst after all. But he didn't really have a heart, right? So you don't really regen it. You have Scotty, you're a little bit tanky, but again, I don't know if that's the reason that he didn't really end up showing up in the late game. I mean, PL has kind of had that issue historically, but it was interesting to see nonetheless.
No, it was like the damage over time of Samael, right? With the Abandon, the level 25 he picked up, the Radiance, the Shivas. It's like this constant damage was coming out. And eventually, PL, no matter how many times he played the shell game, they could actually finally bring him down. So
yeah, I think that was one of the fun moments in the middle of that game. I think it was like 30 minutes in, and they were getting pushed back. Liquid were in control, and then suddenly Samael just says, okay, enough of this crap.
Yeah.
Come at me now. Like, I'm just going to stand here toe-to-toe. Just come and fight now. And they were kind of like, what's he doing?
I feel like when that hero hits 25, it's just disgusting.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go back to the old talents, when talents were first introduced, he probably had the best talent in the entire game at 25. It was plus 300 Aphotic Shield. It's been nerfed to 225 now, I think. I mean, it's still pretty damn good.
Yeah.
And once you hit that point, you can actually literally see the difference in these fights.
Yeah, you can.
Sustain so much damage
It's
constantly.
crazy. Let's check in with the bracket and show you where we are right now. If you're just joining us here at the Bucharest Major, this is how things have worked out this afternoon and this morning. We've had two of our quarterfinals. VGJ Thunder coming back against TNC. They won that one 2-1 after, I guess you could call it an experimental draft in game number one. But nevertheless, showed some real good fight in that second game and the third in particular. They moved on to the semi-finals where they will meet Newbie after coming through with a devastating performance against the former major champions Team Secret. That's all on the left-hand side of your screen. On the right-hand side of the screen, which we're focusing on now, we've got EG versus Liquid, and tomorrow morning we will have Virtus Pro against one of the surprises from the group stages, Optic Gaming. What have you made of the event so far, Shannon? Watching through the group stages, has anything stood out and you thought, wow, didn't expect them to do so well?
The format. I
Apart
think you
from
guys,
format? Okay,
I think you guys
good.
have been over it many a time. I'm of the opinion that first of all, if players are going to complain, that's just whatever at this point. Players have it too good in the scene right now. Let's be real.
Players, man.
It's just when you don't have a team anymore. So
Shut it.
have it too good here.
To be fair, I was saying that when I did have a team as well. You can ask any of my players.
I heard it say that as well. I mean, the players, right? They just get in the way of having a great tournament, don't they?
Is that your motivational speech? You're like, you assholes have it too good here. I treat you too nice.
I may have been a little too hard on them. That's why I only got second at TI. But that's another story. I mean, they don't know the historical significance of what it used to be like for
No, we
me
were
and you.
talking about it this morning. You know, we got sponsored by a BNC provider in IRC, and we were like, we're so good now. We're like a top team.
I would win a mouse or a keyboard for getting first place at a somewhat major LAN.
Absolutely.
Back in the
And
day,
then if it was a graphics card, man, you were wealthy.
I wasn't that good. Not good enough to get a
Yes,
graphics
but-
card, I don't think.
Similarly, there is a much higher level of competition.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah.
I forgot what I was talking about. Did anybody remember?
Players.
I do this quite a bit.
Group stage.
Oh, right, the best of ones.
Yeah.
So
the format.
They might complain about it every now and then, although I haven't really heard any complaints personally. Maybe a tweet or two.
No, it's definitely there.
You'll have to
I'll
go through
promise you that.
You have to go through the tweets, but I do like the idea of just being able to change up the format from tournament to tournament, because the one thing you don't want, especially when the scene is just flooded with these tournaments every week, you don't want the same format. It's just going to get boring for everybody. So something like this, I think, is amazing, because you get to see teams like VTJ Thunder, TNC, Optic, that I don't think they get top 8 in this tournament if the format is more, let's say, traditional.
And after all, the minors system, I think the idea was to be able to show some of these teams that we don't traditionally see, be able to make it through deeper into tournaments. And the minor system actually proved not to be that, since all the big name teams kept on putting themselves in those minors. So this format has been a bit of a change of space.
Okay, let's take a look at our featured matchup in this one. These are the two players we've highlighted to have a look at. I mean, I think, honestly, Shannon, you could probably pick any one of the 5 players on either team to do the matchup. It's not really a matchup, it's just a showcase of brilliance on both sides.
Yeah, I fully agree. I mean, I was talking about this the other day. I think I would put, just on paper, Liquid, EG, and maybe OG as far as the Western scene, probably the best teams on paper in the world. OG just hasn't figured it out yet, but between these two players, I think Cap is probably going to bring this up, the fact that they're quite different in terms of carries. I mean, EG, it's just really weird. It's like they're trying to reinvent the way that people play Dota, right?
Yeah.
Everybody plays a different position.
They haven't got an off-lane, a carry, and a mid in the traditional sense. Or rather, they haven't got a 1, a 2, and a 3, because they change all the time. Like,
Right, and I think it's cool. It's kind of a double-edged sword to some degree, right? Because you have this ability in the draft to kind of confuse your opponents, but at the same time, you probably don't even know exactly what you're going to be picking yourself. You have Misery's the freaking nature's prophet position 4 that is extremely greedy. You pick, let's say, it doesn't even matter what hero. It could be position 1, 2, or 3, depending on, and Sumail could be mid, it could be offlane, it could be in the safe. Nobody knows, which is pretty freaking cool. But even though they've only played 3 games, it is a small sample size. I'm hoping we're going to be able to see EG progress with this strategy of theirs, because it would be very good for the scene.
Yeah, it will indeed. Right, well, talking of VG and Liquid, I've heard that the boys are ready backstage, and I'm sure the crowd here have been looking forward to this one. They'll give them a very big, rapturous applause as we introduce you to Team Liquid and Evil Geniuses.
Masters of Excellence, TI7 champions. Time has not dulled their blade, but sharpened their skills. With 3 minors under their belt and TI8 on the horizon, this European direct invite is here to tear apart the competition. Welcome on stage, Team Liquid. This direct invite's fearsome lineup is ready to write the next chapter. They rolled the dice and came out stronger. With a new captain at the helm, they're on the hunt for their first Majors title.
Those souls were not yours to claim, Shadow Fiend.
Welcome on stage, Evil Geniuses!
There we go then. The pleasantries are exchanged. And it's time to go to war between EG and Liquid. Very popular teams here in Romania. The crowd are very much looking forward to this one, as are we here on the desk as well. I do like some of the team intros, Cap, I have to say. They're all a little bit, because, you know, instead of the classic is
Yeah, where they're kind of like jabbing against each other.
Now we're actually getting a bit more, you know, they're humanized in there. There's dancing in there.
I feel like, that's a great illustration of the balance that Evil Geniuses are trying to make between being able to make sure they get Sumail farm, who's very greedy, as well as Arteezy. It's a dance between the two, and sometimes it's Sumail who's going to be the one leading with his carry Abaddon. Sometimes it's going to be Arteezy, the one who has to...
Can you show me those moves again?
Maybe a little bit later, Paul. I'll show you.
And then the contrast of Fear walking out on stage and having absolutely no idea where he is.
Dude, it's the only time I ever see him confused. Literally, every time they get in game, and he's brilliant, right? Put him out on the stage, he's like,
what are you kids doing here?
It's like, there was a moment there, it was almost John Travolta-like.
Yes, no, I agree, fully agree. That's the perfect meme for the situation.
Indeed. However, they absolutely know what they're doing in the game. The problem they've got, if anything, is that there are still lots of deltas out there. The only way they're going to silence them, Shannon, is by beating Liquid right now, isn't it?
They have some time. It's, you know, the road to TI after all. This will give them a huge boost of confidence. I think you were bringing up stats earlier, 31 and 15 since picking up Misery, which I kind of want to bring up. I don't know if this is off on a tangent or not, but I wanted to talk about...
You can go off on tangents. We don't mind tangents. It's not like it's a big major and there's a crowd behind you.
I'm trying to reel myself in, but at the same time, I don't want to.
Right.
You know? But,
I want to see the full Suns fan. Please go full Suns fan.
No, you don't want that. But going back to the time when God, how do you even say this? What's the adjective for this? I didn't manage a player, right? I owned them, but it sounds weird to say I owned them. You know what I mean? But when Misery was on the team that I owned, he talked to me over and over about how much he hated being captain. And it's pretty, you know, pretty well documented that he does hate being a captain. But when you get the opportunity to captain EG, and people switch their positions up to try to make it work, you got to take that. Now, the question is, will that work out in the long run? That is the real question. So that's why I feel very invested in this team.
Okay. Isn't there a phrase, something about the best leader is the one who's reluctant to lead, right? The one who's not greedy for power, the one, you know, like, no, please, I don't want to be in that position, you know?
But they also have many leaders in this team. They have Bulba helping them with the draft. They have Fear, who's been around forever. They've got Crit, who was the former drafter in the team. Misery obviously has been a captain before. There's plenty of leaders in this team.
You got businessman Phil saying you're not allowed to wear shorts. You have to wear jeans.
Really? I thought he was telling them they couldn't pick Wraith King. I think that was what I heard.
No.
No? Oh, okay.
Have you seen Bulba? He's wearing pants sometimes.
That's true. He's
that man does not wear pants.
I mean, he doesn't have to. I can talk about Bulba for 30 minutes. Honestly, I don't think we want to go there either.
Was that we need to fill for 30 minutes?
I could easily do that, no problem. But yeah, this team is very interesting, and it's kind of cool. Like you were talking about, they've had former leaders. Crit, obviously, kind of in the same position that Misery. He didn't really like the captain role very much.
And I thought he was good at it as well. I think some of his drafts were great.
Yeah, I mean, it goes both ways, right? Because when it gets really tough in certain situations, maybe it's not a position you're comfortable in. I know when, like in those situations, I think Misery is actually really good. He can be a rager at times, no doubt. He's very hot-headed.
He doesn't seem as ragey as he used to be when
he
he was
used to be
younger.
way worse.
He
I've heard
wasn't
some
he?
terrible stories, let's be real. But the modern-day misery, let's call him, is much more common collector for sure.
Yeah, for sure. On the other side of things, how did Liquid approach this one, knowing what they know from the group stages? They didn't have the best group stages, went 3-2 in the end, which just sneaked through the back door into the quarterfinals themselves. And they lost to this team earlier on in the group stages. Does that leave any marks mentally? Does that leave marks on?
No, I don't think so. I think Liquid are going to look back at that best one and say, look, we made some mistakes, but we probably should have still won that. They had a solid draft where they gave themselves very strong lanes. And that's one of the things, is that Evil Geniuses is quite predictable, I would say, in the kind of style that they're running. They're not going to leave Sumail in a sacrificial offlane. They're very likely going to be running Fear, maybe Lifestealer plus Rubik or something like that. Dual aggro lane. They're going to try and give Sumail some sort of 1v1. And as a result, Liquid did abuse that. They made sure they always had a 1-to-1 counter to Sumail. In that game, I think it was the Razor. So they had Razor versus Abaddon. And then they just made sure that Arteezy was not able to have a good game either. So they started off in the laning phase looking really good in that best of one.
Yeah, okay, into the draft we go. No major surprises in the bans. I guess this beast has been, well, the man has been a beast on the Beastmaster, and they've taken it away from them. There's some high regard from that, but both teams have some legendary IO players in them. So, again, no surprise to see the Wisp gone. And
I think
also,
I was looking up the stats. Sumail played 14 games of Beastmaster in the last month alone versus, I think, second place is like 4.
Yeah,
it's like
and he is absolutely fantastic on it as well. I think it's fast becoming a signature hero for him in the new lane. And what about this third ban on Liquid side? Cap?
5 seconds.
Yep, they take away the Furion. I had a lot to say about that one when I was looking at the research of Evil Geniuses. It felt like that hero did a lot for them in the misery position where he was able to both enable Evil Geniuses to avoid fights against Liquid and draw out the game in that critical best of one. Similarly, against Newbie, they also used the Furion to great effect to be able to corral Newbie in from being able to split push at all. So we won't see that here. Earth Spirit and Dragonite.
Yeah, Dragonite's back. Where's he been?
He just got a change, right? The level 10 talent, no longer the 30 attack speed.
Yeah, I mean, we saw him in the group stages, but it didn't seem as prevalent as it did in the previous major, and we certainly haven't seen him today. It's been all about the Luna today.
Ooh,
and
Pugna. Is this a Sumail Pugna?
Yes, I believe it is. I think the Pugna is a great matchup against the Dragonite. The Evil Geniuses have done this a number of times. Actually, I think it was...
could be a Fear Pugna as well.
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah.
I think the last time they ran it mid against the DK when SEC was playing Dragonite.
I was going to say Viper might be an additional pick. I don't know if that's too much of a hard counter to Dragonite, having 2 heroes against him, but looks like Liquid will ban him out regardless. That's a hero that Fear has played. I mean, Fear actually, I want to say, especially in this tournament in the past month, he's played by far more heroes than anybody else on his team.
Yeah.
When you compare him to the 1 and the 2, because Arteezy, you know, he's got this collection of 4 or 5 heroes he usually picks, same with Sumail, but Fear is just all over the place.
I think one of the things that Evil Geniuses has done well to be able to switch up is that they have twice now put Arteezy in that duo aggro lane situation. Last time it was the Morphling and then the Lifestealer. And the Lifestealer game stood out to me because in that matchup, the Lifestealer was not the valid core. It was actually Viper and Pugna who were the most important heroes. So they trusted Arteezy to sort of tank more of a sacrificial carry, and they allowed Fear and Sumail to be able to carry that game against Newbie.
I think that's what Shannon was saying earlier on. It's just that flexibility that they have amongst their cores to play different roles and
I don't know how you draft against this team.
It's great. No, exactly. I mean, they're just so flexible in the draft still.
So you know the laning phase setup, but you don't necessarily know what what carry is going to be sacrificed here. You don't know who's actually going to be, for the most part, Arteezy is going to be doing that harder carry, but you still have to watch out for Sumail. You still have to watch out for Fear, playing some early game heroes that are enabled and take over the game.
Also seeing a lot of lane switching as well from other teams as well. Like, I want to say SC's been playing Death Prophet safe lane sometimes, which is super weird to see, at least historically speaking. So it's not just about who's playing what here, but what lane they're going to as well.
Here we go. We learned a little bit more about Liquid. A new hero in Captain's mode. We did see it a few times during the group stage. Wasn't massively successful, but it did have a couple of monster games.
Can we just not see this as a 5? Just one time. guys, please. I'm begging.
What, you want like a 3 position or something?
Anything but 5, literally. I mean, he's not going to be the 4, right? But
Yeah.
like in pubs, you play a lot more high-level pubs than me.
Just a couple,
Position
yeah.
3,
It's
right?
been
Dark
played
Willow,
three,
is that
isn't
the
it?
thing?
It's a thing. People have been trying it out. And I think that it's possible that Team Liquid may try and do something like that. But
Is it just such a cheap 5 though?
I think
Does so much damage for a 5?
right now I feel like it's better as a 4 or 5 position because I think it's a little hit or miss when it comes to that later. And it operates really well without farm, I think is one of the biggest things for me. Whereas the core Willow really only needs like 2 items, I feel like, and then you start topping out. It's the Blink and Yules that feel so effective.
Well, maybe they go for the double fear or the triple fear strat. You got
Quap?
You got Dark Willow, Quap, and Lone Druid. You just run their entire team back to their base.
Yeah.
And then you have Bloodseeker to rupture one of them, or 2 with an axe. You see?
Just calm
Synergy.
down.
You need a keeper of the light in there as well.
Getting carried
Just
away
make it
now.
all-
Coddle, that's
yeah,
disgusting.
Chakra
Oh,
Magic
dude, we got
and
a
Rupture.
5-man lineup now. Holy jeez, that's great.
So Evil Geniuses picked themselves up the Bounty Hunter, which is actually a bit countered by the Earth Spirit when it comes to laning phase, but a strong focus here on the information as well as the track gold that they're going to be able to mount up. The movement speed advantage that Bounty Hunter gives you off of track, and I do feel like the last like 6 to 9 months, movement speed has been incredibly prevalent, whether it's through talents or the increased cap on movement speed. That it's actually been a very important part of the game, and people are realizing just how good it is. So Evil Geniuses, despite their greediness of their cores, they have actually adapted really well into very aggressive lineups, and this is what it's kind of looking like here from EG, that they're not going to allow Liquid to be able to just get that strong 15-minute period that Liquid so often does. I would say Liquid were strong for in the previous series in previous season rather last year. They were known for their 15 and 35-minute timings.
Ooh, well, we've got some green hero action going on. The Tumberman always promises those kind of things. And it's a Veno this
Doesn't
time.
he hate playing this hero?
No,
Is that
he
him?
loves playing this hero.
He actually loves it?
He actually disgustingly loves
So
all
that's
green
what it is,
heroes,
yeah.
I swear to God.
Yeah, it's pretty disgusting
Yeah.
overall. But looking at EG, Bounty Hunter, this I'm assuming is Misery. That's like his hero, at least. It was back in DC. I know he recently played, what tournament was it? He got like 8 career kills or something ridiculous like that.
Do you want to know a fun stat?
Sure.
Since they've had Misery on the team and they've played Bounty 9 times, they've won all 9.
Okay, that makes sense. He's a very good Bounty Hunter.
He is a very good Bounty.
But the question is ET going to be your position 5? Is that how they're doing this? Because that seems super greedy to me.
No, I think that ET is going to be more of your 4 position here, and Bounty Hunter as a 5 position can buy everything for you because he's oftentimes getting bounty and bounty runes as well as track kill gold. So he can kind of buy everything in that regard. I think bounty is actually a pretty poor position. You put more farm on him.
Abaddon, all right.
So this
Sumail Abaddon, probably.
Yeah. This slow damage that's coming out from Team Liquid, where they have this Venomancer pickup, I think it's countered very well by the sustain that Abaddon gives you. And they already have the Pugna, which, yes, you're amplifying magic damage with the Decrepify, but it's also a hero that can use its lifesteal to be able to counteract this damage over time from the Venomancer. So I think the Venom is more just like ensuring that they do have this strong team fight and they do have very good lanes. But EG are going to try to match this up. They're going to try and get Abaddon against the Veno, where the Venomous Gale doesn't have a strong impact, just being taken away by a Photic Shield.
Yeah, I mean, Photic Shield, amazing this game, not just for him as well, but I mean, Magnetize takes off, right? Dragon Tail, it's pretty value this game. But this is kind of what we're talking about with EG. They're so flexible. Normally you look at this draft, like there's no way they can fit an Abaddon in this lineup, right, at all,
Yeah.
but here we're going to see it.
And that does mean that Fear's more likely to play the Pugna now.
So they are lacking quite a bit of stun. They have ET for the team fight, but almost no stun to speak of after. I mean, they have a mini stun from Shuriken, I guess, but I would expect something else to come out here with a little bit of CC. Or they could just win without stuns. I mean, we've seen that before.
Yeah, I think in their matchup against Newbie, they had 1 stun, which was Rubik. So it's entirely possible, but the matchup here is very different because Liquid have established that they are going to have a lot of early game fighting power. Both their cores in Dragonite and Venomancer do need to be able to have strong laning phases first before they really come online. Lifestealer was the 3rd core that EG had. They had Pugna, Viper, Lifestealer.
Yeah.
So, and that hero matches up really well against the Venomancer in many ways. As long as you don't get Galed before Rage, other than that, everything else is better for Lifestealer.
Yeah.
So who's on DK for Liquid? If we got Matu on Veno.
Again, I mean, they're also very flexible.
Yeah,
they do mess around a little bit with who plays what in there, but usually
It's entirely possible.
Usually it's Matu, but
entirely possible that it's a mind control.
yeah, because there is a Veno in here, which he is pretty much the only one that does play the Veno of the cause. So I would imagine it's a Matu Veno.
So
Okay, Jug. That is I feel like this is a ridiculously greedy lineup. It might work out, but it feels super greedy.
I think it's okay. The Juggernaut is another one of those Magic Immune cores that does really well against both these supports as well as the core Venomancer. It's really good at being able to force some squishier cores to just blow certain things. So it's good versus Gyrocopter, it's good versus the Venomancer, it's good versus Luna maybe. It's like those kind of heroes that you want to just be able to get on top of them with single target focus, and they, as a result, have to do things that are a little unnatural for them.
I played a huge amount of Jug, but it was 2 months ago in Genting that they last played the Jug.
So they may not want to play the Phantom Lancer against the Abaddon again.
Yeah.
But there is a strong single target focus here for the most part from EG between 3 of their heroes.
Here we go. What is Miracle? Anti-Mage. Okay.
I mean, AM pretty good against Abaddon, at least in the laning stage, right?
And it's a Miracle AM, and Matu has taken.
I've never heard
the
cheers
Veno.
for Anti-Mage before. That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's how long he's been out, right?
Yeah.
He's been in the wilderness, Shannon. He's allowed to come
I
out
guess
now.
so.
Honestly, it's like Techie's been gone for far enough that I'm sure people would cheer for it.
People
if
cheer
it
for
gets picked
techies
up.
anyway.
Yeah, didn't they
every
always cheer for
time
techies?
they
True.
I
did.
forgot what kind of world we're living in.
Exactly,
They're all
right?
masochists.
Yeah.
Somewhere Black is throwing some sort of party right now.
Yeah.
Anti-Mage is back in. Gents, it's prediction time. Cat will start.
I think Anti-Mage is just a bad hero for the most part.
Okay.
Super situational. Liquid are going to have to prove me wrong here, but I'm going to go for EG.
Okay.
Oh, God, I want to pick Liquid so bad right now.
Just do it. Believe in your heart.
Okay, let's go Liquid, guys.
Okay.
Dark Willow.
Dark Willow.
Dark
All right.
Willow lives
no
matter.
other
Disgusting
No
hero.
other reaction required. It seems that one of our panel members is an anti-mage because he's not convinced that the anti-mage is back. But let's find out as we head into game number 1 with your commentary team for our last quarterfinal of the night.
Thank you very much, Red. Yes, we're ready to go. I'm Toby One here with Pudge, and I really don't think Cap has believed in the anti-mage ever since he changed his hair. Like, if he really
that what it
believed,
was?
he would go back to the anti-mage hair.
Well, he has gotten some new talents. Maybe that'll sway Capek over to the other side. But we'll see how it works out for them. Like you talked about a lot when we were watching the draft, there's not a lot of stuns on EG's side. So if Anti-Mage can get to this glory area, yeah, it's going to be hard to lock him down.
Yeah.
But can he get there?
It's the situational thing. Like Cam said that exact word. Does this actually work in this game? You have Kura, who's going to be playing the Dark Willow. We saw Lil actually do amazing things with this hero. Now in the hands of an entire team like Team Liquid, I'm interested to see if it can go to another level.
And I kind of feel like what EG is really focusing on is lane domination. Between something like Abaddon, he matches up really well against the semi-weak disables that Liquid has. And it's kind of like different drafts than we've been seeing from a lot of the other teams, which are very focused on burst stuns from range that give them the ability to get follow-up kills. Feels like they're a lot of the times aiming for the laning stage and making sure that they have good late game closeout. So both lineups are kind of weird in that way. They don't really fall along the same lines, and it'll be cool to see how they play out.
Team Liquid get that aggressive Observer Ward down. They don't see anybody with it. The Juggernaut is hiding in the trees to the east, while Crit's already done his little bit of a wander down. No Observer Wards left behind by him. In fact, he's not even holding on to one. He was just coming for a look.
He's just watching for the ultimate smoke. I mean, if somebody gets galed, they're pretty much dead in the early game if it's not Abaddon to be able to remove it. So just a nice excursion here for Liquid to try to get a kill, and RTZ's buying himself some time. Does get spotted out, and this is going to give Liquid the ability to possibly give the lane matchups that they want.
GH can easily contest this rune even just by himself, but with Miracle and Kuro behind him, life is easier.
He's not too worried either way. He can always spin, and at max there'd be a couple stuns that don't last super long, so they'll be just fine.
ET Spirit, yeah, you're not going to get much more out of this one, Crit. But Bounty Hunter is going to take both of the top bounty runes, so Evil Geniuses will get 3 out of the 4.
So they'll be pretty happy with that considering how passively they're playing right before the lanes push out, but the lanes are not going to be that weird. I guess Veno mid versus a Pugna should be a pretty much trade war, and then it's going to be Dragonite offlane by himself to start the game. That's
GH can easily contest this rune even just by himself, but with Miracle and Kuro behind him, life is easier.
He's not too worried either way. He can always spin, and at max there'd be a couple stuns that don't last super long, so they'll be just fine.
ET Spirit, yeah, you're not going to get much more out of this one, Crit. But Bounty Hunter is going to take both top bounty runes, so Evil Genius will get 3 out of the 4.
So they'll be pretty happy with that considering how passively they're playing right before the lanes push out, but the lanes are not going to be that weird. I guess Veno mid versus a Pugna should be a pretty much trade war, and then it's going to be Dragonite offlane by himself to start the game. That's going to be pretty tough.
Yeah, that's... I suppose at least when it comes to the harassment that comes out of Misery, it's not going to be as terrible, and if things get rough, you can always just level the Dragon Blood first.
But it'll only give him so much space. I think it's a better matchup. A Baden versus a Veno wouldn't have been that bad.
I love the way Sumail starts this lane too. So he levels up the Curse of Advance. He doesn't worry about the shield. Just harass Mind Control completely out of the lane.
And it gives benefit chases. So he only has to hit one time, and then Bounty gets all these trade advantages while he chases. Really cool dual lane.
The mid lane's also going to be a little bit of fun. Matopperman versus Fear. Crepify isn't really that saving for Pugna. Not when he goes up against a Venomancer. And I'm interested in like the build that also comes out of
They're going up bottom.
Yep. Did they actually have an opening? It's Crit, but it's also
he could get a kill here.
That's a lot of life on him. There is no more extra damage from Kuro. In fact, it's GH who's in real trouble, and Crit's got the movement speed. Evil Geniuses spelling first blood using the power of that ET.
So this is the cool thing that EG did here. Liquid had to commit 3 heroes because I want to protect the anti-mage, but that just means more damage for Elder Titan. And right before his first spirit ran out, he recasted it, which allows him to keep the same damage that he'd accrued before. And he dodged the rolling bolt, the disable, so he was able to down. Really nice kill for Crit, and a huge win for EG considering this they only have a dual lane here.
Yep. And they definitely want to try and keep this lane pressured. Like keep the supports down low. Make sure there isn't any kind of roaming support, but you know, GH is going to want to do it. Rolling boulder forward, goes right on top of Fear. But that was a level 1 poison sting, so Fear can through it. And the fact that Misery already started his rotation, they dropped GH down very, very low. He'll get the dust trigger onto Misery, but GH does not want to chase this any further.
That's pretty tough for him. He just got back, and now he's out of HP again. Better than dying either way. Sumail's just going to be doing some creep skipping here, since he doesn't have any worry about dying to the Dragonite in this lane. So just kind of looks like a decent lane for EG either way, and then now he's just tanking all the creeps while the creeps deal damage to the tower.
We have seen Sumail be an absolute boss on this hero already in this tournament. That was the late game against the PL, which can never be forgotten. GH, you may want to keep an eye on him in that mid lane. Matopperman, here goes Yagale once more. GH with the Invis rune is preparing, and he's set up, ready to go for the kick. Fear. Low for now, and actually you don't actually have level 2 on GH. Oh. Fear just nether blasts him, and GH bit off more than he could chew.
For a second, Fear knew instantly that that's a level 1 on Earth Spirit, and he's not going to be able to get the kill on me. And it seemed like Matopperman didn't necessarily back him up fully. Might have been cooldown limited or something. But
Misery, he's going to claim that one. They left it for the Observer Wards. Rolling boulder in by GH underneath the tower. Fear had a little bit of extra life and back into the trees. Misery's rotation. Should be able to get a revenge kill onto GH. He'll aggro the mid lane up the hill. The creep wave's going to stay with him. The creep wave will turn around. One from Misery. It's not going to be the icing on the cake. Fairy Fire and GH rolling boulders away. Meanwhile on bottom, the Bramble Maze out from Kuro. Trying to make life difficult for Crit, who was chasing down Miracle. And Miracle, he's preparing himself for a hard road, trying to get that ring of health to begin with.
I mean, the road looks hard on every road here for Liquid because EG's got consistently more last hits in all of their lanes. They're up 3k gold advantage at 3 minutes 40 seconds. That's insane. That means they're just completely stomping right now, and Liquid's gonna have to turn this into some kills somewhere to make this work out, but I think it's gonna be a little hard. Earth Spirit is a little under level, just now hitting 2. They've got a Dark Willow who doesn't really get super strong until later in the game, maybe like level 6. So I think Liquid's in a bad spot right now. They've got to get some lane victories here, and they've been trying on Pugna. It just hasn't worked.
You need those critical items as well to come in for the Dark Willow especially. We were talking about her during the group stages, needing the boots, needing a Yule Scepter, having these items, but you also have to get Miracle into the Battle Fury. Until he has that, he can't start playing catch-up, and a lot of the Juggernauts we've been watching have also gone for a very similar build by having this early Battle Fury, ensuring they remain #1.
And on the same side, he's still getting more last hits in Miracle, even doing super sick body blocks to prevent Miracle from getting last hits. Like, he's got less last hits than a Dragon Knight does right now. So Miracle's in a pretty terrible position.
Well, Brett, Spirit's coming down. It's harassing on bottom. RTZ has spin available, but he's not going to have a crack. Not while Miracle to keep him down. So they require the one charge as okay, Crit. He's got plus 168 damage on that ET. He put it into the stack on the side, so Crit is using this stack just to buff himself up because he's getting both heroes and the stack.
So much MGH TPing. Fear ends up getting the kill in the mid lane.
Yep.
With help from Misery, who's just going to teleport. He's got the boulder smash.
Oh, okay, there's your kick. Revenge for GH.
Still very good for EG as a whole. Getting a kill trade there is not bad.
Yep.
Bounty Hunter picks up 3 as well. He's playing in a good place.
The small advantage is the fact that GH, who was critical roamer, the kills, is now building up in levels. Downside is that Observe what he just placed was perfectly scouted out by evil geniuses. Looks like Crit's ready to fight once more. Running in, here comes that initial Spirit, goes over Kuro, and Kuro knows it, vanishes it himself. That's 102 plus damage on Crit. Miracle does not want to get hit by this, neither does Kuro. Way too much damage and they will start to move away.
Yeah. If they would have blocked this camp, it would have been completely different, but I don't think they're expecting to get outlaned in a 2v1 or a 2v3 situation. But because Crit just owned the early game, now every time they convert, he has to use Blink to escape. Even takes damage. It's such a bad place for Miracle to be. 12 last hits on him. This is an anti-mage.
They're looking to go for Crit now. The Bramble Maze is down, but that Spirit's going to walk straight back over the top of the creeps and back into himself. So the movement speed moves from 341 to 402. The damage! 14 HP, and he gets a regeneration rune. Crit getting around. He's got Spirit and Stop available. Misery entertained, and there's that movement speed once more. But underneath the Shrine, Team Liquid have the advantage, so EG will back off.
What a lucky player, man. That is one of the best regens I've seen in a while. Takes a while to hit full health, but that's a trip back to base and a possible kill if they can find an opportunity here.
Oh,
Miracle's out of
Misery,
HP.
they dust him. They found the opening. They need a little bit more damage. Kuro has the 2 points up in the Shadow Realm. Kick, even keeping Crit away, but now GH. Crit's got plus 138, 450 movement speed. The Bramble Maze starts controlling Crit. Spirit looking for the perfect connection. It won't happen. It put GH, but it's still not enough damage. No more support rotating over, so Crit's high movement speed, trying to get him out, but GH, the rolling boulder kick, never gave a chance for Crit to throw the phone book at him.
Just a huge save by Crow there to land the Bramble Maze on a moving target and completely ends up with that kill opportunity. EG's still trying to make stuff happen, but either way, even if they lose some of these support trades, they're still winning the core matchups right now.
Yep.
The second highest last hits on Liquid side is Veno with 28, and 2 heroes on EG are in the 40s, almost approaching the 50s.
With 18, like the lowest CS on the core heroes is Miracle at 18 CS. His net worth is actually below the ES. This is a sad situation. If you're Liquid, it's probably going to be a bad situation if this dog senses didn't tingle. Twitching in the trees, waiting. Last time they did this, they actually did it to TP out and just give some observer wards over, but then still got the snipe out from the bounty.
And every time Miracle comes forward for a last hit, Arteezy's right-clicking him, or Elder Titan is there as well. The trade hits.
Bottom
he doesn't
lane.
even have boots yet.
Miracle, crit. Okay.
Oh my god.
Someone has to clean this stack up. They actually have to get rid of this stack in order to
Who's gonna
get
handle
it
that,
out.
Toby?
Mid lane, Matubberman trying to actually get out. He's getting drained out by Fears. Got enough life. I don't know who. Like Venomancer. Yeah. Well, he doesn't have any. Yeah.
There's not a lot of options. Like Dragon Egg with Breathe Fire 8 times or something like that is maybe one of the options, but they just simply can't deal with it.
Get him a second level Dragon Form, that'll do it. Right now, Mind Control and Sumail are just battling against each other. You got 6 more Mind Control and a large amount of regeneration, so he triggers a Baden's borrowed time.
Such perfect timing on the stun. His ultimate pops, he throws the stun. If he did that any earlier, Sumail would just use the ultimate and chase down. Here's
the advantage. So you just have... you just lose your tier 1 tower. That way Crit's got so far to go to make this stack work. He's 162 bonus damage on this ET. Eventually this will turn into a stomp and spin and huge amounts of money in for RTT. GH rolling boulder kick onto the partner. You don't have that Gale available anymore, but maybe the Poison Sting should be enough. Fear, no, he's starting to drain out the life of GH. Staying alive, giving the Nether Blast and working with Misery. The Force Matubberman back underneath this tier 1 tower.
Oh, Fear's dead. Poison Sting does way too much damage. Level 4 on that 2-4-1 weird skill build from Matamba, but it works out. It gets both kills.
He actually took Fear as well as Misery. A happy day with Matamba, but he can now buy that hood and potentially protect himself a bit more.
It's really smart. I mean, it does 450 damage with 1 Poison Sting, and a lot of players and heroes don't have that much damage in the early game. We talk about it heavily in the mid game and the late game, but early on, this is a nuke, just with an attack.
GH is waiting to go on the bottom lane. They've got extra support coming in, but it's Kuro walking over the top of a dire observer wall. So Evil Genius is fully aware of what team choosing both of the supports.
Nice.
Healing ward does get sniped out.
Really cool usage of Shadow Realm there with the extra attack range bonus. Easy way to snipe the healing wards.
Very smart TP out from Mind Control. Fear's rotation to the top will not net them a kill, but it will net them a tier 1 tower. Unlikely anyone from Team Liquid is capable of defending this.
The toughest thing for Liquid right now is still about anti-mage. Like, Arteezy has actually just been sitting in his lane this whole game. It's been 10 minutes, he hasn't left.
Yep.
Just here, he doesn't want to gank. He just wants to make sure that if Miracle tries to get any last hits, he's going to prevent that. Or at least trade his health out for it.
I'm loving watching this little battle with, oh no, they scanned. So GH thought that maybe Misery was still hanging around, but he was moving over towards the Radiant Ancients to throw down an Observer Ward. This goes Matubberman's level 4 Poison Sting is way too much for the bounty hunter to deal with. So he just attacked it once, threw down a ward, and the advantage was just...
I mean, on the bright side, Liquid's finally turning out a tower here with Dragon Knight popping ult, but EG got the top tower as well. They might get the
stun onto a Baden, borrowed time, very early triggered, crit. Waiting for a good time to fight, putting his spirit down. Liquid will not want to engage.
Not all bad, and Miracle's going to TP the off lane, finally not in the same lane as Juggernaut.
They're giving space to Kuro on the bottom. This is probably the critical thing out of this maneuver.
That definitely helps. On level, considering how the safe lane went. And now Liquid's just looking for more if they can find it. They grab Pugna.
Yep, rolling boulder forward. The kick well off target from GH. The Gale will connect into the Pugna. Mind Control looking to help out. A little bit of extra damage. There's actually a double dot on the Fear. That try and break him free. The Poison Sting is still taking it down, but Fear is alive. He turns to give extra help. But the DK out of help bring down Sumail. Matubberman, the man, awarded with the kill.
Very selfless for Sumail. He kept Fear alive with the shield on him, and it ends up being his death since he used his ult recently. And there's the Terrorize.
Meets the distance from Arteezy. Mind Control's come over. Breathe Fire is on cooldown. Here comes Matubberman. Micro that ward. Kills off the healing ward with the Breathe Fire as well. Matubberman, they keep the chase going. The Plague Ward focus on Arteezy. There's your spin TP. Have they got enough damage? Arteezy moving back. 15, not enough life to complete the escape.
Huge series of kills there. Great snipe there, and finally chasing him down, doing just enough right-click damage. Arteezy did everything he could, but they were just on top of him. And finally, I think EG is going to be forced to play a little bit more passive in their lanes. They can't necessarily be so up in front on top of their opponents, but I don't think they should be too worried because the Juggernaut has almost 2 times the net worth of the anti-mage. He's going to get a Battle Fury at like the same time, if not earlier.
Yeah, Miracle at least is playing some good catch-up. But it's that bottom lane, Mind Control. This is huge if they can actually claim all of this. This is so much money and experience for Team Liquid. They had the observer ward watching it, so they knew EG was never going to snipe this out. But the man who was nearby, but he's so far out in the trees, getting no advantage from this at all.
I don't even know if this is technically good for Liquid. Obviously, lots of golden experience, but if EG can outmaneuver right now and set up some kind of a tower kill, it could be way better. But maybe in this move, they expect Liquid to be smoke ganking somewhere, hence EG plays passive instead.
They got not only the stack, but they're going to find a kill on bottom lane, and it's a big one. It's RTZ.
Works out great for him.
And then turn it into tower attack damage. This dragon form's lasting for a while. Misery does snipe the Radiant Courier, but
yeah, Liquid definitely getting back in the game. The Courier snipe will do something, but in that period, EG didn't really accomplish much. They were kind of moving around. I think they're worried about Pugna getting caught because something like a Gale is pretty simple. Fear has to TP or he needs backup, and he can't have those players sit behind him the whole time. So now it's this period where EG's cores are maybe a little less survivable in terms of, at least Pugna is, in terms of what they can do. But on the bright side, Abaddon and Jug, for the most part, are safe, but not when there's 4 heroes like that.
Yep.
And they can silence you from range as they roll in, so.
It gave a lot of space as well for Miracle to bounce around the lanes. You did mention that Evil Geniuses would look to force down the lanes too while they're there. Bramble is a target with the Sentry Ward, Misery being a real nuisance. They're pinging the trees out, and another dust goes astray. Misery's a real thorn in their side.
Yeah, didn't even have mana for Invis, wasted dust, right? But they are in him. I love been placing too so much pressure around the mid lane and should give them an opportunity for an opening. But it's one of the downsides to EG's lineup. When you don't have stuns, it's usually harder to get these kinds of ganks off. So you have to know where everyone is.
It'll help if Liquid wants to stand their ground and fight the Plague Ward attacks Misery. They know he's behind, but they jump in forward the Bramble. Whereas the control actually terrorized Fear as well as Sumail all the way back. But that's in through the rear, right on top of the tier 1 tower, and then isolate him out. Mind control needs more distance, needs to keep the run. He's back underneath the tier 1 tower. Relative safety. Arteezy trapped in the trees. The Plague Ward is actually locked him in. He can't get back out again. They'll finally get rid of that healing ward. The kick, it flies straight through. It's not enough damage. The Juggernaut protected from the Shadow Realm damage. Everyone's so low. And Mind Control, a quick blink forward. He'll find one. They look for the second. It is going to be Fear Mind Control with a double kill. Sumail still battling in the mid-river. Arteezy is licking his wounds, running away with the Poison Nova on him.
And so much pressure from EG, and ultimately they get what they wanted with the tier 1, but a really bad situation for them. Losing 2 heroes, and this whole time, Anti-Mage was off doing whatever he wants. That's the worst case scenario when you're playing against this guy, because it's just going to let him catch up. He's still not there yet, but he is on his way. But either way, the tower's dead. That's more places that Bounty Hunter can move through and scout things out.
This time the dust will connect. Misery. Bramble is perfectly controlling the choke point, and Miracle. A lot of patience, a lot of farming on the side lanes, now claims his first kill of the game 15-16 minutes in.
So much patience around that mid fight as well. Basically, they just pressure Pugna when it's time. The Terrorize follow-up was perfect to delay Sumail's ability to save Pugna, and then they split up and pressured the other heroes, really forcing EG into this awkward fight that they weren't quite able to be coordinated for.
I can imagine it's also very difficult for EG to fully understand how these team fights are going to play out. We've been guessing the entire time, how does the effect of Dark Willow work with every single team, with every single matchup? We don't have enough data, we don't have enough experience for this.
Been working so far. Hasn't gotten a because it's so difficult to use it against a hero like Abaddon. Work so far. Hunter is 7 though, so if EG can start turning out, that would be really good. As they could accelerate. He seems to be spotted constantly, and Liquid's kind of in this group up and push mode now. There's even a Blink Dagger on Dragon Knight that gives such a big advantage in these team fight beginnings. Because if they can just jump on Pugna and kill him at the start of the fight, that's a huge amount of EG's damage.
It also seems too that Team Liquid are trying to be very forceful, pushing towards the towers with multiple heroes. Anti-Mage can keep that pressure up. Obviously, Mind Control's going to attack it a couple of times. Now it's a full TP back. Matubberman down bottom with Kuro. Miracle goes into the mid. There's too much experience to pass up. Arteezy will get hit by the Gale. Spin himself away. Poison Sting going to do some work. But so the Spears to Pepperfy. Another blast into the trees with the stop. Matubman needs some distance. The Nova comes out. Doesn't connect on any of the heroes. It's the ET Spirit chasing GH and Matubman through the trees. Sumail chasing in a little bit deeper than that. Kura trying to get the Bramble Maze down. Able to do so. They pop the shield already. Now borrowed time. Mind Control holds him in position with the Dragon Tail stun. But EG, they need to make more space. But the silence, it hits on 3. The Terrorize ensures that EG will also back out. I was waiting for Chris ulti, then realizing he's actually got no mana for it.
Yeah, there's a fast phase boots build. A little bit more expensive than Tranquils. His follow-up mana regen isn't quite there. And ultimately not terrible for EG, but this is a lot of movement and nothing really to say for it.
It's Miracle space. Like, he brought down half of the life of the tier 2 tower on top, creep skipping galore, working towards the Manta style. Just the next wave of items starting to arrive. This Juggernaut, ever since he picked up the Battle Fury, has been primarily focusing on the bottom lane push and fighting.
Which is all good, and he's still ahead in terms of farm, but Anti-Mage will be able to get from camp to camp faster with the Battle Fury.
Yep.
And therefore it should be better in the long run.
Cheeky from Fear to Decrepifies Miracle, so he can't get the last hits on the Satyrs.
Everything adds up, right? More experience for him. I mean, the faster that Pugna gets to a BKB, the better. Because once he grabs that, he doesn't have to worry about getting Galed, he doesn't have to worry about getting Earth Spirit Silence, he can just try to pick his targets and get kills.
Yep.
I kind of wish he went Veil first, though, myself, just because it really amplifies damage that Pugna can do. Obviously, the extra cast range is amazing also, but maybe Veil would have been better. Yeah, for Pugna. I'm kind of a fan of when you have Veil on Pugna, the damage you deal is completely different compared to more range.
You got both Veil as well.
Yeah, no, order, I think it's actually sort of crucial, but positioning-wise in fights, Aetherland's a big advantage, and that's what he went for.
Yeah.
But he still felt kind of vulnerable to me, and I feel like his damage has been mediocre, so I brought it up. Sumail is still going Radiance, same thing he did last time. He blinks or uses drum to try to chase down Mirror, but it's going to do some damage here, but extremely unlikely kill. He knows that, but he's just trying to prevent Miracle from being safe, feeling safe about farming.
He chased a long way. Give Mind Control a chance to jump back in again with a blink. Stun, GH, here comes your kick. Sumail's TP will not be able to complete. With the Bram to Sumail, he'll find a path to freedom, but the Fence are turning out to stop him. 2-3 heroes gathered up. So the borrowed time, it'll burn, and Liquid, they were just waiting for this. Miracle's ready with the Mana Void, and he can get this kill secure, and he will in fact do that.
The best revenge ever. Miracle farms in the meantime, and right when he's ready to pop, he shows up for the kill. And a little bit more acceleration. Now he's creeping up on the top network spot, still at number 3 on the Anti-Mage, but Arteezy's doing his best to keep the farm up for himself as well.
This will keep changing too when Team Liquid add more pressure into the lanes. So you take that fight, the Dragon Form is there, Mind Control's just going to easily blink away from the delay stop. But Arteezy, with his spin, committing to try and bring down that bottom tower, the TP out. It will be successful, but Fear is here with Mind Control, wants to go for some kind of drain, but it won't work. Not when Mind Control is there for the Dragon Tail stun. And Kura will ensure the last hit.
And I didn't even get the tower, it gets denied in the end. So, I mean, EG's getting some of this tower pressure, and yes, it's going to create some openings for Bounty Hunter, but there's not a lot of heroes on EG's side that super benefit from this. So I feel like they're going to be a little unhappy. Didn't see that one coming, just hit high ground.
He needed higher vision.
He will be able to break this clarity, at least not terrible. Little vision on might hurt him in the long run here.
It's at least letting him know that Crit will be fine on top lane to get a little bit more farm. He's going to go for a dual Scepter for himself.
Pretty good choice. Help to keep himself alive if needed, or interrupt TPs, things like that.
Mm-hmm. So it looks like EG are just slowing down the pace of the game for the moment. It's 14-4 in favor of Liquid. They've got a large amount of kills. Even though with that 10 kill difference, the gold advantage is still the way of EG. The experience graph, however, is a little bit more in favor of Team Liquid, moving up by 4K.
Most likely just because they have so many more kills. You can always keep the farm up if you have 3 cores that are kind of hard to kill, and you put them in each in one lane. Let them go do what they
jump
need.
in, bottom lane. They're going to go on to Sumail. Support is there. The Bramble Mates once more going down. And Abaddon, with borrowed time, all they're trying to do is just trigger this, but it won't work.
Great play by Fear as well. He's using Decrepify to prevent the attack that comes from Dark Willow, and that stops the magic damage from even connecting in the first place. So, play can make a difference. Oh, Misery, he knows.
Got it. Got it.
Very ready for that one, and that's part of the reason that EG does somehow. Instant blow up on Arteezy on the bot lane. They were waiting for him here.
Yeah, Arteezy thought he could come back for half a second. Hey, you killed a courier while I clapped for you.
Looks like they used Terrorize to set that up as well. It's a good way. Despite being a 5, the range on this ability is disgusting, and it is able to silence him, which gives him a guaranteed blink stun.
Evil Genius is now moving their forces towards the north. Miracle is the man who's farming up here. If he blinks to the east, they'll have a chance to kill him off.
So hard for them to actually chase him. I mean, they had the Yules on Elder Titan, but
he'll blink up to the wave instead. TP's off cooldown in 2 seconds time. Crit's gonna get the perfect stop. Miracle, can he survive long enough? The ET split up. Damn, that stun lasts forever. And he almost got the blink away.
That was so much magic damage, and it still didn't look like Mage Man.
Yeah.
That was crazy. Veil and Elder Titan and Decrepify almost lives. They made it work. That kill is so crucial, especially because if they can do that maybe one other time, that just fuels them to be able to buy the items that actually help them kill Anti-Mage, whereas right now they have these small, narrow windows with just raw damage.
Nice to see that Yule Scepter set up too, so they're those critical items you're talking about. But while it all did tier tower in the bottom lane, so more map control is being established. Obviously a dangerous thing when you have an Anti-Mage in the field looking to bounce around and just farm all sides of the map.
He's really close to Juggernaut's net worth now.
Yep.
The kills on Arteezy have been great. 0, 3, and 0 for Jug, but he's still top net worth due to good play. But he's going to need at least maybe something like a Lincoln's later to lower his chances of dying. But
I'm wondering how long before either side will start to prioritize Roshan. In Eagles the Immortal normally is used to secure all the outside tier 2 towers.
well, both teams are close to ready. There's only a medallion on the Dire side, so I don't think we'll see them do it anytime soon. But kind of feels like it's easier for them to group and push, and so it's kind of a weird position to be in for EG here. Put their shove it down, let the bounty hunter create chaos, snipe couriers, stuff like that. Keeps Liquid busy, and then hopefully they can hit a better timing later with Radiance on a battle.
Well, that's nice. Rune as Juggernaut can find himself a kill. Now he's back to farming. I was thinking with like a smoke gank, you have a bounty hunter, they could have taken the Juggernaut with them. Just try and catch out Miracle. And again, they don't have enough stuns, do they?
There's almost no way. He'd have to blink to a neutral camp and then they Omni Slash him there. It's like the only way it'd work.
They have Team Liquid stun up. The smoke actually breaks, and that allows them to stun the bounty hunter and kill him off.
Completely worth it though. I mean, if that's a bounty hunter dying for a mere 30 seconds and your cores are still hitting creeps, that's what you want to happen. They'll try to kill mind control here. It's going to be close. They've got to nuke him from range.
And he's got 17 one charges as well too, plus the 4 points up in Dragon Blood. Even if mind control dies now, he bought the BKB before it completed, so the EG spinner is out. Mind control. Now the one charge, but will not complete.
Very crucial that they nuke him before the wave, because he could have used blink to dodge it and get out. Barely catch him in time, and a nice gank for EG. They're making it work without stuns. It's basically just Yules into Echo Stomp or Spirit into Echo Stomp and then drop the ulti.
Team Liquid is still ready to fight. Like, they got double smokes on Kuro. So even though they had that first smoke broken, they've been storing them up for a while, waiting until the right time to gank.
It's a good move. Could give him a tactical advantage late game. Dragon Knight does finish his BKB though, so that's not going to work in the future. Just be BKB TP next time.
They found Miracle. Yule Scepter, they got the vision on him, and just before the blink comes off, he's still got Mana Style, and Miracle pops it, dodges it, and burns all the mana off Misery. And the top of him was coming in to help out too. These illusions causing real problems. As EG, they can't even kill him.
Very good dodge. That's the most disgusting part. That item shouldn't reliably be able to do it every time. Keeps himself alive against the few disables that EG actually has.
Now the DK is up. They may think about slipping into Roshan. Yamatoman's going to begin it. And it's up to Evil Geniuses if they can stop it. They have one of the greatest counters in the form of ET Spirit Stomp.
This guy is actually so farmed out of Venom. And I've been slipping under the radar, but he's 5-1 and 8 at the moment. He's had a really good game. He's been farming like crazy. He's got so many defensive items between Pipe and Veil and Yules. Even focusing him is going to be hard for EG, and they're going to get a really easy one.
They're going to move real fast. Like, Roshan is up. They just scanned. It's the Radiant trying to work out if EG's moving over. They won't arrive in time. They just picked up the Radiance as well, so Sumail was ready to fight, but EG, they took about 15 seconds to gather around the bottom Ancients, and then it was too late.
I think it was a situation of they didn't really feel like they could contest. I mean, at this point, Bounty Hunter is kind of worthless in a team fight. Got Track and Shroy can toss. And yes, they have a bad in Radiance, but if you have to fight around Plague Wards, you're constantly being hit and slowed by those.
Yeah.
And a lot of their other heroes have some issues engaging team fights as well. Even Jug is not ready yet. If he gets chain stunned, it could be really dangerous for him. Or silenced as he initiates. There's a lot of dangers from Liquid right now.
It's quite a long slow as well, because you got the plus 6 talent for Poison Sting slow coming in from the top of him. It's kind of strange. He wants that extra lower movement speed on EG.
He's all about utility right now. And Gale cooldown reduction as well, so he can Gale every 10 seconds. Constantly going to slow his opponents. And EG's somehow going to have to burst people with a Pug. At this stage of the game, I don't even feel like Pugna is that effective in team fights. It's going to be hard for Fear to have impact, I think. He is good at pushing towers. He's good at split pushing lanes if nobody's around. almost got his own BKB, so I think EG's almost ready to fight.
That split pushing actually forced Miracle to TP back, and this is why EG, they're TPing aggressively. Sumail out to the Shrine, Arteezy as well. All Liquid want to do is bail out this one. I don't think Matumba's going to be so lucky, however. Still on the run, having no TP available. The Terrorize tries to create some space, or at least he can turn for the ulti and the Gale. That's a lot of tick damage. Crit's the man who's actually hurting from this. Everyone else appears to be out safely, and okay, no longer hurting. Fear, the medic is available.
He's fine, he had Dual Scepter, he just didn't want to use it. So ultimately a big kill, track gold as well. That was at the time, about the top net worth on Liquid side, so definitely a good pick. That's going to give him a little bit of time to move around. This is one of the negatives of having Aegis on a hero like Anti-Mage, because at this point he's still, like, he can fight and he can gank and 5v5s.
No. He will later on. GH will die up on the top lane. The reason why Miracle's going to be so good is, like, look at his cash. Look at the next time he's got. He's #1 in the net worth, and he's about to finish up a full Abyssal Blade. He's just short the Ring of Health now.
And that's going to be a real big danger for the way EG's been playing, which is take a hero, push down a lane by yourself, and if he knows you're there and he prepares for it and he outsmarts you, he's going to be there and he's going to solo kill Pugno with an Abyssal. It's a huge danger. I don't think Arteezy's maybe super worried, but he has to be a little concerned. Abaddon's maybe the only one that can safely get away. So now EG's going to have to change their playstyle a little bit or have vision to prepare to see where Miracle's going to be looking for these split pushes and ganks of his own.
That's why Misery is on the run. Trying to check out absolutely everywhere for him. And then you'll see him now. Miracle shows himself next to my control in mid.
And he goes for the blink cooldown talent. So 3.5 second blink, which means that even less danger for him to be caught by the enemy team with few stuns.
Yep.
They could transition to some orchids and things like that. Would be one solution, but I don't see anybody getting one anytime soon on EG. So
EG need to find some kind of answer. They have a lineup, as you said, without all these stuns. So do you just run down the lane? Do you force a fight? So far since Fear picked up that 10-second BKB, like, there hasn't really been a good opportunity to appear for him.
Side the Vises are really useful. Pugna's got one queued up. That way you can just hex him, but either way, he's going to be transitioning his next item really rapidly. He's queuing up an AC next. That's one benefit with the Elder Titan. He's not going to have as much armor as normal, so he's forced to go a different item.
Miracle's going to kill mid. Mind Control's going to come in. The ET Stomp's available. Will catch both Miracle and Mind Control. GH and Kuro under the cover of smoke behind. It will now break as it timed out. Venomant's adding pressure towards the top. Fear is going to reach the bottom tier 3 tower. So EG have a split push going, but Miracle, he wants to fight this. He still has the Aegis Immortal. Fear is still not TPing back. He wants to keep the damage going, keep that momentum up. Mind Control's attack through the top. Fear still.
He can't TP for 15 actually, so they've got to fight. Here.
Has to push then. He has to keep the push going. Mind Control will continue to fight. Where's that kick? Won't connect on anything. The tier 3 tower on bottom is dropping low, and here comes Miracle. Begins his TP, the stomp!
He's
only a fraction of a second too late to cancel the TP into the Dark Realm, with the Dark easily able to TP away as well.
Well, Fear does get his BKB off, but yeah, that's going to be a death. Kind of something EG had to do with that split pushing, but without a Blink Dagger, Pugna's just going to get killed as soon as Anti-Mage shows up. The only way that wouldn't have gone bad is if Miracle makes a terrible mistake, Abyssal's right away, and how it gets BKB TP, but yeah, Fear ends up dying for a split push, and I guess not all bad for EG. They did a little bit more damage, but losing their Pugna's tough.
Well, GH, you can enjoy picking up an is getting tracked. It actually failing with the dust, but Misery will also have his own Observer Ward dewarded. He dropped that right on top of an Obsidian Sentry of the Radiant side.
Goodbye, little ward.
Now, they need that aggressive vision too. The mid ward's starting to time out, so is the aggressive one in the Radiant jungle. So EG are about to go very dark on the Radiant side of the map. All that extra information you were saying they needed, it's disappearing quickly.
Yeah, they're going to need it again soon, especially with Anti-Mage's kill potential right now. Very dangerous for them. Arteezy's still getting pretty farmed, and he's picked up a Blink Dagger. Gap was easier to get kills, so when they do finally get these disables on Anti-Mage, something like a Blink Manta Omni Slash or Blink Manta Right Click could get him a kill on this important hero. But they've got to find the opportunities. Even still, their disables are not great. Troy can toss. Elder Titan Stomp. That's basically what they're dealing with here.
Well, bottom lane, there's your jumping. Miracle trying to go solo on Arteezy. Right off most of his mana.
And he just blinks away. The cooldown is solo. A little scary for Arteezy, but it's part of the reason he farmed there aggressively.
They're coming in through the side, Matumba as well as Kuro that needs some extra high vision. And the Plague Ward will provide that nether wall down for EG, trying to be defensive, trying to stop Atomic from just going ham. The Eul Scepter defensively from the Elder Titan. Trying to break free of a lot of this. The Plague Wards, finally, they get through the nether. Liquid ready to fight. The Gale will connect onto Sumail. He already used his shield. He can use the second one now, but GH comes in for the kick as well as the silence. And then into the back line. Straight the spill damage. Really hurting Misery. Sumail, well, they're just not targeting him. He can have all the borrowed time he wants, but now time is up. The kick from GH will hold him in position as Terrorize even stopping the Juggernaut from really responding. He'll go down over towards Sumail. Team Liquid just too good. Sumail will deny himself and then buy back because he knows the push is coming from Liquid right now.
And that's they can do in that team fight. They need to initiate and kill somebody right at the start, but as Veno being aggressive, he pops a BKB and EG just has to run at that point.
Mind control, he's got the stun borrowed times on cooldown for 10 more seconds. The kick is nice as well, but with the buyback from both now the Abaddon as well as the Juggernaut, Team Liquid have just claimed a huge economical bid.
Even the damage to the tower is not bad, so I think Liquid's sitting in a really good place right now. AC is almost done here. Just there was the initiation, Fear commits BKBs, constantly being slowed, and because of EG's position, Sumail's forced to run to the left. He just shielded himself, not able to remove Gale and get out of there. And the cool thing was, instantly, GH also silences Sumail, preventing his ultimate from being popped to defend his ally, and then it's just a chase down situation for Liquid here.
Also, I feel like GH was able to be controlled. It's that quick movement that comes from the blink into Abyssal Blade. There's just no way that EG can chain the very few stuns they have.
And it's going to get even worse as time goes on because he's going to grab the spell shield, I assume, at 25. So he takes even less damage from magic, which just undermines this whole Elder Titan plus Pugna combo. It, in some ways, it's like guaranteed late game win for him because that's two heroes that just don't threaten him at all.
Well, the panel sat there and said, like, it's like any mage is a situational pick. It appears this is a very good situation for him.
I mean, the early laning stage went awful, I think, but I feel like if this wasn't Miracle and Liquid, it would have been the game ending. But they've scrabbled back into it.
Gale goes onto Sumail. He already has the shield up there. He's jumping again from Miracle. Look for that spill damage. So heavy. Crit to cripple fight save from Fear. Bought in some time. GH is just right behind him. Rolling, bouldering up. They want that ET gone. He doesn't need the shrine. Mind control will breathe fire him down. Another Gale to connect onto Sumail with Omni Slash. Mind control. The rise lane. The blink count will actually be enough. No, not from the Juggernaut. Not enough damage. Even under the shrine. Evil Jesus is losing the whole kit and caboodle. Miracle is still alive through all of it. And GG, well played. Team Liquid. It looked like it was going the way of EG in the early game, but Liquid hold strong, fight back in one.
MVP for me for Matamba Man, simply because I think he's the entire reason that Evil Geniuses were not able to kind of run over Liquid during that time where Miracle, as you know, Animage as a hero, isn't really able to do anything for you, and the game's kind of 4 versus 5. It was all that Veno.
Yeah, I thought early in the game, EG came out with a huge opening. They were up like 3-4K at like 7 minutes, and that was basically crit and misery, creating tons of space. But at the end of the day, Sumail ended up feeding away a lot of kills, and I think a big part of that was the Dragon Tail was OP against EG, because this borrowed time pops, you Dragon Tail, you just wait, you surround him. It takes forever to kill, but this guy's worth a lot of money.
And it was their only initiation against the Juggernaut, and they caught him a couple times thanks to that early blink dagger and mind control. They were able to kind of keep Arteezy from being able to get too far out of control as well. So I would definitely agree with you that that initiation from mind control played a big part in this game.
Let's take a look back at some of the highlights of the game. As you both rightly pointed out, in terms of advantage, it was advantage EG in terms of the space they were creating, the money they were creating, but it was Liquid that kept racking up the kills early.
Yeah, Evil Geniuses just seemed incapable of being able to find a lot of these kills, and I would kind of point to not just the Venomancer, but on the EG side, if I'm gonna give anything to hit on here, it's the fact that Evil Geniuses and their kind of natural greed in wanting to be able to keep all 3 of their cores kind of in their lanes and kind of spread out and always farming. I think that played against them here, where they had situations where it was definitely 4 versus 5, but very rarely did they actually try and move all their heroes down to that bottom lane and take that tier 2. I mean, that tier 2 stayed alive for so long, and it was all Matamba Man playing that very even game where you still need to stand in front of these towers. You need to be able to you need to prevent prevent them from just being able to run in and take your tower, but you also can't overextend yourself and be an easy pickoff. He played that sort of perfect game in between and made it so there were so many times EG were baited into trying to go for that kill and failed.
Yeah, some of these ganks, though, against Miracle were pretty filthy to watch, the combination from Crit and whatnot. And we saw both teams kind of swarm in a lot of ways, these ganks, like 20 minutes and beyond on these carry rolls for the opposing teams. So a lot of great execution. I thought that game ended abruptly, though. That was like, I mean, that's kind of like a Dragon Knight strat, right? You get this little tiny team fight win, you can extend it really fast, you can get some racks. And of course, Anti-Mage just starting to get out of control. These Mana Voids doing a lot of work in these fights.
I think Evil Geniuses had to feel pretty skeptical about their opportunities to be able to win this game post like 30 minutes. It just seemed like they hadn't really hit their timing. The Anti-Mage was coming online. There was only so much this lineup could really do to shut down an AM specifically. It's like they had that one Yule Scepter gank where they were able to get the stomp and then like 4 people just threw all their spells at him. But other than that, they didn't really have a whole lot of disables against the AM. And that is why it was such a good AM game. But the other way to counter the AM is trying to basically win that 20 to 30 minutes where AM can only farm, and it's a 4 versus 5 in many ways.
Yeah, actually, I had a question on that. Why do we not see so much anti-mage these days?
I feel like this game, most games, I would say you lose this game, right? With the AM on the team, because you're down 4K that early. How often do you see the team actually come back that quickly, too? It wasn't like this 60-minute game where eventually AM gets 6 slot or whatever, but...
I think AM is still outdone later in the game by many cores, and then he also doesn't give you anything in the early game. So go back to all the way to the beginning of ESL 1 Katowice, where we had that interview with Ramses. He said, look, this is why Terrorblade's so OP, is that he's strong at every part of the game. Well, Anti-Mage is definitely not that. He has huge areas where he just does not give you anything, and he has a very specific peak. But Liquid are known for, I think, hitting their timings. Again, I want to go back to last year's Liquid, where they were super good at being able to win the first 15 minutes of the game, take control, and then ending it at 35 minutes as well. They understood timings and really hit those very well, and I think they did this here with the Anti-Mage. They stalled, and once the aim was online, they took over.
Okay, let's take a look at the scoreboard and show you how things finished in this particular game. It is, of course, game 1 of a best of 3. Still an opportunity for Evil Geniuses to come back. But that scorecard, Shannon, won't read too well for EG fans.
Yeah, I'm shocked that I was right. I'm not going to lie. I bet on the AM and I won somehow. You don't say that very often these days, especially the Dark Willow in combination. But yeah, this game was like Cap was saying, Matamaman had a lot to do with that win. I thought GH was an absolute god, though, in the first, 5 minutes. Even though they were down, he was creating a lot of space, getting these kills in mid and safe lane. GH.
Except that one invis blunder.
Right.
But there was one I was like, oh, you don't see that. GH make that kind of, clear, misread of the situation.
But the crazy thing about this, sorry, I didn't interrupt, the fact that he didn't even play this hero at TI. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
He did not, this was not in his repertoire at all, and he just added it after having 3 heroes that basically had to be auto-banned from. Now, I don't know what you do against GH.
No, I'm not sure anyone does. I think that's part of the problem, isn't it? Yeah, I was just going to say, look at the kill participation, and also the spread across the team is quite extraordinary. You don't see that every day. And also the damage on Matamaman as well. Just absolutely ridiculous. 32k in his team, which actually is almost more than his entire team put together.
That's kind of Venomancer in a nutshell, right?
It is pretty disgusting. I think we've established that much.
Yes, and if you're not the highest damage dealer on your team or in the game, you're doing something wrong on Veno, I feel like. You just hit that R button, and it's not fatal, but
you make it so simple.
Well, it is a different hero, though, right? Because a lot of times, we talk about Matamaman, plays these different kind of carries, or whatever actual role he wants to play.
Green heroes.
Switch it up. Green heroes a lot, but Venomancer just feels so different than every other hero in that position. You play it in, it's not super aggressive, but sometimes you can be. He went Poison Sting super early, where sometimes you can go Plague Wards. So just a very unique hero that, I don't know if you guys find it boring to watch. I thought it was really fun. Maybe not every game, back maybe a year ago, but.
You've definitely gone down in my estimation.
Tell me, Suns fan, are you a Naga Siren fan?
No.
Oh, okay.
I thought he was. When he went down that whole Veno route, I was like, he's a Naga lover as well.
Like I said, Veno in small doses is cool. Okay. Naga is just garbage. I hate that hero.
Yeah.
Alchemist. Oh, I love Alchemist so much. Because he gives people Aghanim scepters. Do you
Oh,
understand
that's
this,
right,
guy?
the Aghanim. You know, I was going to talk about this.
man.
I was like, Sunsfed, we were talking about the Abad level 25. I was like, you've got an Aghanim scepter list where you ranked all the Aghanim
his is
scepters.
good, man.
And what about the talent? Do you have like level 25 talent list as well where you rank all of them?
I wanted to do that, but
You should. I think you should.
It takes way too much effort to do these things that don't matter in the
That,
game.
that's
you know?
true. That like 2-year period where you weren't really doing much, just owning players, you were like,
Yes,
that whole entire
when
time you were working on the Aghanim scepter
When I was
list.
owning players back in the day, the Aghanim scepter list was very important.
All right, if you were to own one of these players, who would it be? Who's your MVP for this game?
I agree. I think Matama Man. We can give Venomancer the MVP for one. I mean, it's once in a blue moon, right? You don't have to do it every single time, but we can give credit where credit's due.
And listen, sometimes you have to give MVP to a hero like Venomancer, like Viper, because at the end of the day, they are the one who has to die all the time. Think about that, Paul. He has to, like, Matama Man has to play. Like, yeah, think of how many times this poor guy had to play Viper all the time and, like, build blade mail and die all the time. No, he does not like playing Viper.
I swear to God,
No,
he just
I like
likes
Viper.
playing all of these horrible, horrendously obnoxious
like,
heroes.
Come on, Paul. Like, it's like, what equivalent am I going to make for you? You play Overwatch, right? Like, it's like you have to play some sort of, like, what's a hero that dies a lot?
I don't know.
Like, you just die over and over again, and you don't really
the
get to
dying
play the
hero.
video game a whole lot. Like, half your time is spent in the grave, you know?
Yeah, but I think he gets off on it. I really do.
Oh,
He dies, and he's like,
now we're getting into some weird period now.
I think Slack
I
should
don't
be
know.
asking more personal questions post-game.
Yeah.
Okay, time to move on, I think. We are headed to a break. When we come back, Game 2's draft will be upon us. Shannon will be back alongside Cap, and we'll bring you all the thoughts as we head into the second draft of the day. Can EG turn this around? We'll find out very shortly.
Well, don't join my fucking team. Join Optic or Complexity if you want to play LANs for fun.
EG, there's only room for the best.
Ready. Steady. Game on.
Welcome back to the Bucharest Major, the end of our first day inside the arena, the end of our 5th day here at the Major. $1 million up for grabs, of course, as we head into our last quarterfinal of the night. We've already had one game. If you're just joining us, this is Evil Geniuses versus Team Liquid, a battle of 2 TI champions. It's the reigning TI champions that find themselves ahead by a game as we head into the second draft in just a few moments. Cap and Sunsfan back at the desk with us once more. Cap, what do you expect for game 2?
I was looking over the draft, and I'm feeling like the Venomancer was a bit of a problem against the Pugna. We were talking about the damage over time matchup, but I said, you know, it's not about that. It's about being able to have this self-sufficient core that deals really well with lanes pushing in, and you saw exactly that whenever they tried to actually push into this Venomancer. It didn't actually work out so well for them. So I think Pugna is probably going to fall a little bit when it comes to pick priority for EG. Not sure how I feel about the Bounty Hunter either. The amount of information that he got wasn't all that useful, and they had some very high teamfight impactful supports on the side of Liquid, where Bounty Hunter doesn't really give you that. So I think that's also another reason Liquid were able to take so many fights in 4 versus 5 scenarios.
I have a prediction as we get into the draft.
Okay.
I was going to say this before game 1. I don't want to seem like it's a cop-out here.
Okay.
I feel like we're going to see reverse EG right now. So typically EG goes into the tournament, they do god-awful in the group stage.
They start slow.
And then they step it up in the playoffs.
Yes.
They went 3-0 in the group stage.
did.
I don't think I've ever seen that before. I think they're about to go 0-2 right now.
You're so harsh.
I know.
I would say another one. I was looking over my notes.
But,
It was,
but I see where you're coming from. I like the pattern.
I think Liquid, every draft here, ban Prophet first phase, ban Morphling second phase. I think Morphling is actually way too strong of a tool on Evil Geniuses.
Do you think you pick him up in the first 2 then, in that case?
I'm not sure if Evil Genius is willing to do something like that. Chen picked up for EG. Finally, we're going to be seeing Chen. I feel like this is easily one of the most impactful supports out there. Team Liquid can try and match it with the ET. I also thought that somebody had a decent response to it. I think maybe it was Secret, where they would pick Earthshaker.
I'm seeing some Witch Doctors as well, obviously, with the cask being amazing against these minions that Chen can produce. Although he doesn't technically produce them, does he? That sounds like he's giving birth.
No, he robs them.
He co-ops them.
Okay.
Or robs them.
He owns them, basically. He said, you're mine now. Work for me.
I don't know, what word can I use?
You've been Suns fan. That's what he
I
says
don't know
when
what
he walks
else
up
to
them.
use. It sounds so bad. I'll think of something.
We like it.
Servitude, perhaps.
That's basically the same thing, let's be real.
You've come into my commission.
When's the last time we saw Crystal Maid? I mean, it used to be an old school, kind of like a witch doctor type hero.
We've seen a few. Yeah,
Optic
Optic
Maid as a
There's
counter
only
to
really
Chen.
a couple of teams right now running it.
Oh,
okay.
Are they doing a... so they're going to try
okay. I don't know about this, guys. I don't know about this.
So this was... Oh, man, I've actually lost it now. But this was a counter that Evil Geniuses did against Complexity,
yes,
I believe, where it was the... they tried to run a... Maybe it was vice versa. Yeah, EG ran this, where they ran Coddle Beastmaster up against the Chen Sand King. Right, so the concept being is that Sand King is an aggressive laner, wants to be able to shove out the wave, and likes to be able to dive towers. Chen cooperates with that perfectly because he invades your jungle, he enables you, supports can't really zone you out, and then he's a great tower diver. So against that, what they did is they did a Coddle Beastmaster, where Coddle was just always shoving out the wave into the Sand King, so you couldn't actually ever be aggressive as the Chen and go for those tower dives.
Coddle Bristle.
No. Okay, it was Coddle Beastmaster, but I think
Okay.
this is a similar premise, right? Where it's still a tough hero to be able to dive into.
I'm gonna give you this. Team Liquid have not run a Bristleback in more than 7 months.
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, nobody really has, right?
Nope.
Like, there's
Envy.
just Secret
There's a
who was
couple.
picking it up.
Yeah, there's a
there
couple.
was.
Didn't Envy play it like every
Pain,
game
maybe?
for 2 months? Like literally 2
Yeah,
months,
yeah,
just
like,
nonstop.
Yeah. There was that one point
This
at a time.
hero, I feel like, is just utter garbage. if it's position 1, which we've been seeing a lot. If it's position 3,
yeah, we've seen one good game from it.
like if they
here
end up
with
doing
Secret.
yeah, and I mean that was they kind of fell off, right?
So the theory crafting was, I think, that these teams were picking up Bristleback against the Gyrocopter because theoretically it seems like it would work, right? The Gyrocopter doesn't want to play aggressively into the Bristleback. You're throwing a lot of AoE damage into Quills, into the passive of Bristleback. You're mitigating that damage. You're a tanky frontline hero. It all seems to kind of work, but it fell apart in the actual laning phase when push came to shove. Bristleback was just too weak when it came to damage in that regard. But the Wisp Bristleback worked because you had an enabler. And that is exactly what Keeper of the Light is for B.
Wisp already banned in this one, of course. There was a series last year where EG played Liquid. And in both the games, Liquid picked a Bristle. And it was very weird. They won both games. But that was a weird kind of game. There was an Ursa, Darkseer, Dazzle, Earthshaker
Darkseer?
Yes.
Goodness.
Yes.
What year was this?
Exactly. This was 9 months ago, believe it or not, epicenter last year. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, not that long. And incidentally, by the way, in your answer to your Crystal Maiden thing, in the first game in that game, they played with an Invoker CM Bristle.
Oh, okay.
So,
well,
let's see if they've been diving back into strat books from 9 months ago, shall we?
I mean, I've seen crazier things, right? These guys have been playing a long time, so I wouldn't be super surprised. But you kind of have the counter already, another Toxin to some degree, and I'm assuming they want some sort of a Shadow Blade carrier perhaps for EG at some point, maybe like an SF or something like that. But
fearing a second phase Brood.
I mean, that would be I mean, Brood, I feel like you don't need the last pick this year anymore.
I think it's mostly because the Viper suffers so badly against the Brood Mother, where Viper is so dependent on being able to win your lanes, where if you have a bad matchup for this hero, which very rarely happens, it just screws over your entire game. So I think it's warranted here in the 4 or 5 bans.
How did you find Kuro's Willow?
I thought it was great. I actually thought it was going to be banned away in that second phase. It is not.
Okay. When you see Tusk, the first thing I think of, even though I don't know if it's really that accurate anymore,
Igloos.
but other than Igloos, of course, he has a lot of lore connected with CM actually, so it kind of connects with everything. But I think of Save, but it's not really this like super reliable thing until you can get like a Blink Dagger, which isn't really that often.
And sometimes
it's used a lot.
You just lose
it's been
before
used
then.
aggressively more often than it's been used the opposite way around, isn't it?
I think about it as like a setup where these certain aggressive heroes, like Viper in this instant, are really enabled by the fact that you have this Ice Shard block off. Just works. It's like a more offensive Earthshaker in that regard. It's very hard to be able to get good offensive Fissure blocks. Much more likely to be done reactively. Much more done defensively in that regard. Tusk is like kind of offense in that regard. He likes to be able to roam into mid. It's a straight shot. Earthshaker has to do this wraparound. Tusk can just run straight through the lane, and it's hard to be able to give good ward vision to be able to see Tusk rotations, because again, they just go straight through the lane to get an Ice Shard block, and it's pretty easy to run. In fact, you've run it, if you put it in a specific spot, you can block that whole entire pathway. That whole entire...
Ever since they changed the Ice Shards to be able to be manipulated that way, it's much easier to
it also means you come across the odd troll as well.
We are seeing it, my friends. What are we missing? You have, dude, 3 out of the 5 that we said, right? We're missing Bloodseeker and Quap. That's 3. That's
you
3.
have one of them.
I feel like
do you want at this point? Do you want to do one of those? It's happening gifs.
It's
your own version.
All right, Lifestealer.
I like this because I think the other answer to Lone Druid frequently is Razor. I don't think it's a direct counter, but I think it's okay. Lifestealer is a lot better. First of all, because Razor and Piper operate in a similar zone, kind of how the Gyro Razor operated for Team Secret, and we saw how that overlapped and worked for them. Lifestealer is a good matchup against Lone Druid. If he has a vehicle, he's made perfectly to be able to jump on that Lone Druid and kill him really quickly, and he does great damage to the bear as well. And then you've got another strength hero already in the books with the Bristlebacks, so you got to be have a very self-sufficient hero that can deal with a Coddle Bristleback spam against you, and Lifestealer has some toolkits to deal with that. Now he just needs a, what I thought was kind of an initiating type hero like Batrider, but Liquid were more afraid of the Pugna.
Do you think this is enough vehicle?
I feel like it was.
Team Liquid's turn to pick. if you put it in a specific spot, you can block that whole entire pathway. That whole entire.
Ever since they changed the ice shards to be able to be manipulated that way, it's much easier to.
It also means you come across the odd troll as well.
We are seeing it, my friends. You have, dude, 3 out of the 5 that we said, right? We're missing Bloodseeker and Quap. That's 3. That's 3.
Well, I feel like do you want to do one of those "it's happening" gifs?
It's
in your own version.
All right,
I like this because I think the other answer to Lone Druid frequently is Razor. I don't think it's a direct counter, but I think it's okay. Lifestealer is a lot better. First of all, because Razor and Piper operate in a similar zone, kind of how the Gyro Razor operated for Team Secret, and we saw how that overlap didn't work for them. Lifestealer is a good matchup again if he has a vehicle. He's made perfectly to be able to jump on that Lone Druid and kill him really quickly, and he does great damage to the bear as well. And then you've got another strength hero already in the books with the Bristlebacks, so you got to be have a very self-sufficient hero that can deal with a Coddle Bristleback spam against you, and Lifestealer has some toolkit to do that. Now he just needs a what I thought was kind of an initiating type hero like Batrider, but Liquid were more afraid of the Pugna.
You think this is enough vehicle for Lifestealer this game?
Yeah, just the Tusk. I'm not so sure. To have end creeps. Apparently, Liquid feel like it was enough. And after all, it's not like every game needs a vehicle for Lifestealer. Evil Geniuses, with their draft of Lifestealer, they actually very rarely have a vehicle for him. And they're usually going to be throwing him, whether it's Artesia or Fear, throwing him in that off-lane area with the +1 support. I wonder if they're actually going to run full aggro. But it's going to be tough. Just because Lone Druid is such a good dead lane hero, similar to the Venomancer from last game.
Ember Spirit. Well, there's a vehicle of some sort.
Yeah.
Strange pick, though. Who's playing what and what lanes?
Yeah, quite. that was the ask I was going to make as well. I don't really know what we're doing here.
They go aggro.
So you don't want Ember Spirit against the Lone Druid. Lifestealer and Viper. I think you want Lifestealer against the Lone Druid here. I thought they were going to have a better matchup than that, but maybe Lone Druid, if Lone Druid goes mid, you run maybe Lifestealer mid? I don't know. This is kind of weird. But then again, I think Ember Spirit can really only run mid. Ooh. And it's going to be matched up against a Timbersaw now.
Okay. Miracle Timbersaw. I love this. I love seeing him play Timbersaw. This hero just feels... I mean, we saw Moo play it somewhat recently. It feels like people have kind of forgotten about him. But he can take over games in the right situation. Not sure if this is it, but...
Mineski definitely showed that they're still able to run that carry.
So we're doing a male Ember.
Yeah, so I mean, no matter what, the Ember Spirit doesn't really have a good matchup here. No. He's either like versus a Lone Druid or he's versus a Timbersaw. So, pretty decent Timbersaw game. I'm a little bit concerned that Liquid don't have one core to really make sure they don't get run over here. I have to play that classic Lone Druid split push.
Okay, let's move on to predictions. Sunsman, we're going to ask you first.
Liquid.
Before you, all right, okay, so you're going Liquid. Yep. Can we get a close-up, please, of Sunsman? Because he needs to do the, it's happening! Otherwise, you're not allowed to choose it. That's great, that's perfect. Okay, Liquid for Sunsman. Cap, what gift would you like to, sorry, which team would you like to predict?
How dare you?
No gifts here, no gifts here. I think I'm also going to go because they go like 11 minutes or something like that. They weren't really able to close out that game, and they have to do a similar thing here in game 2.
Okay, so 2 for Liquid. Okay, deep, sharp intake of breath because Evil Geniuses are on the rack. They have to win this one to stay alive. Are they going to do so? Let's find out with your comment team of Purge. Top 1.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Game 2, Liquid versus EG. How do you feel, man? The panel is like leaning the way of Liquid. They think they're on the horse and they've momentum going forward, but have the boys in blue managed to trip them up with the draft?
Well, there's 2 boys in blue, so right off I'm confused, but it's a bit of a different draft than we saw before.
I think one of them bleeds it. One of them rides it.
Okay. Liquid doesn't have very many stuns. That's the first thing that kind of shouts out to me, except for Mana Leak. So I think that Liquid might have some catch problems to deal with Ember Spirit. But with that said, they have really good lane matchups, and like the panel was talking about, especially Cap. Sumail on Ember Spirit, that's a hero that has very low armor. So anybody that's right-clicking him is going to pose an issue. And Timbersaw lane against him is going to pose an issue because he can potentially deal with Flame Guard the first level or two, and from there on out he should have a lot of regen, even though he does is a little bit weak to magic damage. But I could see some place where EG maybe gets a lot done in their lanes with the Chen, for example, and then can snowball into the mid game, maybe with Tusk and Lifestealer tanks.
Okay. Well, we'll see how it all does unfold. So just to double check all of our lanes, our mid lane will be Matumberman versus Arteezy, so the Lone Druid versus the Lifestealer. That makes our bottom lane with Fear and Crit working together as Viper as well as Tuskar against the Coddle, GH and Mind Control. And up towards the top, it is Kuro on the wonderful Dark Willow working with Miracle's Timbersaw against the currently Chen, who's up on top. Ember Spirit.
So I think all these lanes look pretty much ideal for EG except for the offlane one. With Timber being here, it feels like Chen's not going to be the most useful, may have to gank him. And the safe lane, I think EG's relatively happy, but the Bristle and Coddle dual lane is really dangerous because he can cast Quill Spray twice in a row after Chakra Magic is used, and that's just going to amplify the damage he deals. So Viper's got to be pretty careful here, get a fast wand, and then hopefully just stay alive lane.
Yep. We get up to the side shot. Mind Control's kept the lane shoved in so much, he's just battling underneath the tier 1 tower.
It's a safe place to be, better than being in the open lane when you can be chased down.
Yep. GH also has fantastic vision. It's not really getting any kind of surprise against Team Liquid thanks to the Observer Ward that was placed down by Liquid already. Similar warding up on the top, except the warding of Liquid actually blocks the pull camp, so Kuro will now be fully aware of this.
That could be really huge, actually. Dark Willow needs some levels to be more useful, and if he just gets zoned fully, could make his impact weak. But on the same vein, Chen's also got to get something that might be hard.
Well, he's trying to. Like, the Mud Golem was harassing Miracle, but I think the more it harassed, the more Miracle just got more powerful. Even with a level 1 of reactive armor, it's still enough to deal with the damage that Sumail's doing.
But either way, if Sumail can at least get last hits, he's going to be in a good place. He's got 9 right now, so that's a good start for him. And on the mid lane for EG, having a Lifestealer versus a Lone Druid is great, because every time you want a little top-up, you just slap the bear a little bit, touch him, get some beast, and a lot of health. And that's a huge kill.
Actually got it underneath the tower, but what really made that work were the 2 shard golems that were coming in.
That was 3. He probably summoned, he throws the first one, uses Holy Persuasion on a new creep, and then it makes 2 new shards, so he gets 3 within a very short period of time. That's, what, 375 magic damage plus whatever Ember does? That's a really nice way to get a kill.
I'm kind of surprised it was still able to happen too when you had the Dire Observer Ward watching the move of the Chen, of the creeps, so they knew what he was bringing up.
But that's what makes it deceptive, right? Because all you have to do is let your creep die, and all of a sudden you get 2 more shards. So it's like it's a trick play, basically.
This could happen again. If Sumail can get the Searing Chain up, they've got 4 stuns available. Here goes 1, 2, 3, and 4. Bramble Maze is up, trying to create space, but Miracle will go down to Sumail. Now Misery wants to do the damage into Kuro, put the Penitence onto him, using that set of torment to chase down the Dark Willow. It's no boots versus high movement speed. Hadouken's off cooldown. 1 more Golem stun, doesn't actually have it off cooldown for the moment, but Kuro under the tier 2 will be able to survive.
So sick how Misery played that. Finds the Mud Golem camp, sets up the first one, goes back and gets the second one, lets it die, and going for this play. Amazing that they're able to kill Timber twice in the laning stage. This is like the hero on EG's side that they expected to do poorly. It's Ember Spirit who always gets laning. All of a sudden, they've killed the Timber twice, and now he's off to a rough start.
You said it yourself, man, right? Like this Chen, maybe he should think of a different lane, but EG came with a plan, and it's working quite well. As long as Sumail can keep that attention onto Miracle. Kuro into the Shadow Realm will give us some chain-off damage, but then again, that Hadouken's back up, and Sumail, eventually Kuro will be sent back to base. I think he's overstaying his welcome.
And this is one of the weaknesses of Dark Willow. This isn't pretty much all he can do in his lane. Occasionally use Shadow Realm to get a new Bramble Maze for a follow-up when they're juking in trees. But in terms of actually fighting in the lane, I think this is one of the reasons that Dark Willow hasn't been touched that much this turn.
Well, GH doing what GH loves best. He's already mass stacking up Ancients. There's a triple stack of Ancients for Team Liquid on the bottom lane. Not to mention he's going to take both of the Bounty Runes and the Invis Rune.
It's a good grab, but not that much you can do with it likely.
So he's cutting through. He's trying to body block, I believe. There's the penitent, searing chains down. They've still got, actually no, he doesn't have the mana for it. In 2 seconds time, that Hadouken will come up. But Miracle is safe back behind his tier 1 tower. The temp to Ivama regenerating very quickly with the salve.
It's going to be just fine. From here on, it's going to be a little hard to kill him, but I think
Crits actually get a fight. Kuro came down, trying to get involved. They're putting the Brand Maze down and go to the and Misery and Crit, they're staying with him. They're staying with the Dark Willow. She's got a little bit of extra space. Samel gets caught in the trap. Here's just no pull forward. So Crit will finish the job.
And that's basically what you do afterwards. If you can't kill the Timber Saw, you just go for the support. And now it's going to make Crow probably take a hard look at the map and say, what can I actually do in this game? Maybe one of the options is ganking the Viper, but again, he's got to use Bramble Maze as a combo with nothing else to set it up. Goes back to the safe lane, delay Sumail getting things done, but it's looking kind of hard.
They got Troll Trap up on top of Miracle. In real trouble, the Centaur follow up their shot, block him in.
Wow.
And this is one of the worst games we've seen from Miracle in a while. And already 3 deaths to this Timbersaw.
And on the mid lane and the other lanes for EG, looks like sitting at 22 last hits, and in the safe lane it's 20 on the Viper, so EG's completely happy with it.
They're switching lanes now. Miracle's coming mid, Matumba's heading top.
Okay, I guess that works out. Keep the lone druid safe in the back line. You still have to be careful though. The crazy part is that Sumail's almost level 6. That means he's going to be able to dive right on top of the lone druid if they do catch him. So
this is why they're putting the defensive wards down. So at least Matumba can make a decision when the supports move in. They know there's 2 of them on top lane, once more. Kuro, what do you really want to do here? Matumba can at least battle against Crit if he's got some extra movement speed, but cannot close the distance.
Killing the tower would be a huge advantage for EG now. Kind of similar to last game, but I don't see these heroes catching up nearly as fast as something like an anti-mage can.
Yep. Centaur Tom's over on the bear. Matumba starts run. Shashard's bear will come back, but the Bramble Maze from Kuro creates space for Matumba, but then again, Sumail brought along inside the snowball. The combination of fire and ice working for EG on the north.
And the tough thing, I think they'd prefer if Miracle was the one maybe that died again, because he didn't have a good start, so he's a low net worth hero. But now if it's the lone druid getting last hits mid, going top and dying, then they're just spreading misery across of Liquid.
Yep. I'm still wondering just how long does it take before mind control is going to start to become a factor. Like, he's about to hit his level 6. We're looking at that big stack that GH has managed to prepare. There's a large amount of money for both GH as well as mind control. At the top, and they just keep going. Kuro, you can maze it up. Stunned, held in position, won't take the damage, but cannot escape from this. Surrounded on all sides, Team Liquid, they have just lost this top lane so hard.
Mizuru's doing this really well. Perfect pressure, constant pressure, just making it hard for anybody to live on the top lane. And again, they still sit Lifestealer mid. He's almost ungankable just because he can press Rage and because Liquid doesn't have the skills. And other than that, it just comes down to fear feeding his lane. But the creep wave has always been so pushed that he's pretty safely just constantly under tower. He picks up level 6. He's got some items. I think EG's in a really good place right now.
Yep. Well, Team Liquid, there's a small ensnare on Sumail. There's no follow-up, however. Like,
dude, he's got BOTs already.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Not even 8 minutes into the game, they're still trying to kill off Muma's Berry. Just for another 100 seconds. So if they lose it, it's going to really hurt.
Trying to keep this catapult alive could make the difference in the tower push.
Mind control TP back to base. He's headed towards the north. I'm surprised they actually did this and didn't just almost accept the fact the tier 2 tower was lost. Mainly because that stack is so huge, they have to get into the...
I really love to do it, but I mean, defending their towers is so important for the survivability of their heroes.
This sent back from Misery. Sumail could just spirit himself around.
Pretty cool, actually.
The cheapest way.
Let's go on magic build. He's only levels. The items for what level he is. It's actually insane how much farm he has. And this was one of his heroes back in the day.
Yep.
In Sumail's peak period, it was one.
Viper strike. It's gonna be so difficult to run out this one. Miracle. He's got 17. China's needs the space. The Brandon Blaze is there, but not enough support. In fact, now aggressive spirit. Sumail jumps forward, looking for Kuro. Can't close the distance easily. Kuro's damage. He held onto that for a very long time, and then hits hard into Sumail.
Tries to use Searing Chains, but doesn't work through a Shadow Run. And back, and he's fine. He can teleport back to the lane. This is actually so abusive when he gets assists early. He can be all over the map. He just constantly top. Then he goes mid. Now he's top again. And that just means Matoma Man has to leave the lane. He can't even sit here and hit creeps. He's going to have to jungle to finish his Midas. But then there's Misery. Like, the pressure that they are exerting on the map right now on EG side is insane. To 0.
And they are not letting Liquid come out at all. The Observer Wards are watching the farm areas of Team Liquid. Just trying to slow down and kill off this bear. Down to 260 HP. Matoma still has available. Now, this is the thing. So, just before the 10-minute mark, EG have a 3k advantage. Mind Control and GH will have to work pretty hard to get rid of this, and EG, he'll be very unaware of its existence. But the trade-off is tier 2 tower up on top. Evil Geniuses will remove this from the map.
This is a super standard thing for a Bristol dual lane in the off lane to benefit from. It usually does catapult him into a position, but I'm a little worried for him when he's up against a who can amplify damage as well as a Viper who can disable the passive. So maybe he can be the focus that allows them to overpower EG in a team fight, but it's looking dangerous with their backup heroes.
Misery is just having too much fun.
On in.
It's all these shards that are just sitting there. So Mind Control knows he's the man. This hero was picked in order to try and counter this Chen aggression. And with all the money that Mind Control's the support the GH will be able to provide, EG will see how much respect they actually give to Mind Control. Quite a large amount as they dodge that long cooldown Bramble Maze.
And this guy's unkillable, right? For now, at least. Until Viper rotates, maybe. They don't really have the biggest damage dealer outside of magic damage. And Bear, perhaps, but I don't think he's just a lane against this, because again, just huge feast lifesteal whenever he hits him. And he's got lots of armor on himself, so he's just kind of similar to last game that EG does like putting survivable cores in all 3 lanes as they just outfarm their opponents. But this time EG also has the potential to rotate, which is a huge threat. We didn't see it from EG last game. It meant that in the long run they kind of just didn't get that much done on the map, but it's got to be the big thing that Liquid's thinking about right now. They have to fear these ganks.
Yep. And they can bring in the support so easy. I think Misery is going to be ready to send Sumail back to base in just a second after they try and gank up, or at least do some heavy damage to top, because the Veil of Discord 11.5 minutes in was just afforded by Sumail.
It's actually insane.
Yep.
He can burst damage kill somebody like Lone Druid so simply.
That's the scary thing. It was like Courier sending it out, so they're not wanting to send him back yet. He hasn't burned enough life in order to do that. Miracle is going to start the creep skip turn there to TP on the way over. So what they got for that Miracle in position, the side of the steering chain's absolutely perfect, and there's enough magical damage from Steve that Miracle should be able to cut from this. And in fact, he will do exactly that. Sumail will kill on the very, very sad Timber. Now 5 of the 8 kills of EG.
About that is that's just crit waiting, and then instantly when they see an opportunity, Sumail TP's in. Normally not the biggest threat in the laning stage, but because he was so far ahead, this is what Liquid has to deal with.
Mind Control's trying to soak up the rest of the Chen creeps. Out of fight, but Chen's bringing him back home. Got one there.
Steals the bounty run though.
Good luck for Mind Control. He's bought a 4-star of all things.
Yeah.
Trying to kite the lifestealers. Open wounds, or
I think so, yeah, and also ice shards as well. He can get himself in a safe position. If kind of stuns, he can get himself out of the nether toxin as well if he's disabled on one point. And honestly, the item's really good on the hero. More int and 5 HP regen. Those are all things Bristle kind of needs. So I think this is a really smart grab here by Mind Control, because he's basically we're not all in on the Bristleback, but he is by far the most farmed hero. He needs to force a situation where EG tries to kill him. He needs to barely survive and turn things around. That's how Liquid gets back in this game.
Matoma is right underneath the Radiant Observer Ward. Crit was just waiting at this time for Sumail to move on. TV support is on the way. They've already flipped up the Druid Savage Roll, making it difficult for Sumail, but nowhere near impossible. Sleight of Fist jumps around. Kuro and Mind Control came as quickly as they could, but it was pretty late.
And Ice Shard just makes fear actually not matter. There's 2 sources of it actually on Liquid's side, but if they're in the right position, it just keeps Sumail on the Ember Spear right next to his opponents, and that's that survivability problem.
They found GH. No stun for me.
He'll be fine.
Penitence, and that's it. In fact, I think he loses his army, right? He'll lose the Alpha Wolf.
But either way, that's pressure, right? Mind Control has to run at him, try to fight the Chen creeps. GH has to stop what he's doing briefly. And all of this pressure across the map, maybe it's not so gank focused, it's just putting them advantage. Even Crit sitting behind here looking still in the Timber.
Yep. Missouri can't get the instant rotation. Instead, now it's going to be mid Arteezy. The only reason I'm thinking mid is because he's getting surrounded on multiple sides, but mind control, this aggression just doesn't work. That's an armlet toggling life stealer with Infest available.
And he's got 3 points in Feast. He's so hard to kill right now. I mean, maybe Matoma Man's kicking him for not having a true form level. He did get ganked there. A couple more 100 points HP could have made a difference, but it just feels like EG's playing the same game as they were last game. It's just they have different heroes and even more of a laning advantage. Maybe not on gold as much as they did with the prior game, but this one feels like far more control, and it feels like they have better late game.
Yeah, but can they keep the pressure up? Like, we're seeing Missouri move around. You got the PTs over on Samael. They want to keep fighting, but I also see space being created for Matubberman on this. Radiant's pickup wouldn't be the first time we've seen a lone Druid being able to split push the game and play full catch-up. Miracle is getting stronger and stronger as time goes on too.
That's true, but they do have Boots of Travel Ember Spirit with Chen Sen back. In a lot of ways, you could look at that kind of like a coddle. Another benefit to having Ember Spirit.
Get the hell out of here. I thought it'll be the way to save him. And starts the TP. They fall up against the snowball. It'll still connect. Drew came a long way in, however. Underneath the try. There for GH, but Samael so strong, so much damage, especially when he gets that hook at first, and they can move on to Miracle. It's now 12-0 in favor of Evil Geniuses.
And definitely able to chase him down. Canceling the TP, the Lifestealer is providing to be not only a lane solution in this game, but also a counter to Dark Willow. Absolutely no way they can stop Lifestealer from hitting people, and because they're underfarmed, he just does a huge amount of damage, finishing up his Deso soon. Have all of the pieces that they need to beat Liquid's heroes in team fights, and maybe the Lone Druid can do this because they are close to the relic, but he's almost got the relic only, and EG's grouping up to push now.
Yep, he needs more than this. The Hand of Midas is not going to be enough, but at least he lets him semi keep up with the Lifestealer at 6.8k net worth. Same thing for Mind Control, but it took him big stacks for that. It took a lot of space, and this is where Liquid sacrificing. Matama just stays up on top lane, while Evil Geniuses claim now their 5th outer tower as this mid-tier 2 tower falls.
Somehow they missed it there. One catapult. Sure, they'll be kicking themselves for that, but Deso's finished on Lifestealer. That's better tower hitting. That means killing heroes like Lone Druid is much easier than before. Bristleback, same situation.
They found another stack. But they can move so quickly. A Blink Dagger on Samael. Okay, it's crazy. It's crazy to think he's playing the 3 position in this game. Like right now, he's gotten so much money. You would be easily saying he's just had a really successful rotation with the 2. Miracle trapped inside the shots for the moment. Wants to be able to timber chain away. Does not have enough life to survive long enough, even with the Hood Defiance triggered.
It's just the same thing all game. Team top. Hey, there's a gank opportunity. TP on a Chen creep. Instantly he's there with a Blink Dagger. You couldn't even tell that he wasn't in that gank at the start of it because he got there so fast.
They're gonna do Roshan. Took a while, but with the Desolator up and running, it's a very easy task for Paul. This way, he's probably seen Matoma down on bottom lane, trying to at least get some kind of rebuttal.
They've got the Madonna coming as well, so it'll fall even faster. The bright side, Liquid maybe can take the tower, but
here comes your Illumina just to be a bit more of a pain in the butt. They have the Observe Ward watching crit move. So Illumina spam comes in, just drops Arteezy a little bit lower.
He's just
helping.
helping.
From Roshan's not helping. Kuro, is he going to bramble and attempt to terrorize this? There's your jump in. EG, they're all running out. The pin. Kuro, he's attacking into Arteezy. Almost got the kill. He could have gone for Roshan. He had the choice. He tried to get the Lifestealer and almost succeeded.
Got them all to leave the pit, but a little too early. Roche hadn't quite fallen yet. And then Crit defended the hill. As soon as he comes out of Shadow Realm. An easy punch, and EG gets a kill with her Aegis.
So EG, be ecstatic about that. Matoma now does have the relic, and he's 300 gold away from having Radiance recipe. So a large amount of space still for Liquid.
But even once he gets Radiance, I'm not sure it's the solution against EG's heroes. Viper is notoriously good against magic damage. Will miss chance. Ember Spirit can basically just block it with Flame Guard. He doesn't care that much, especially when he's this farmed and mobile. Like, at best, what this is going to provide Liquid is safer split pushing, but I can just see EG shift to this position where they just start killing the bear when it's split pushed. So,
yep.
It's still something, though. It's a lot of net work. Matoma Man is on his way. It's about a goal from finishing the Radiance, and his farm level will accelerate once he gets there.
Well, EG know what they're going for next. It's actually the 4th tower they killed in the middle because that tier 1 is still alive on bottom, but not for much longer. The army has arrived for EG, and Liquid were ready to try. GH already was moving up towards top. He call onto Matumberman to get him to the top lane as well. Any kind of extra cash that allows him to defend.
Well, we'll go to the top lane here. Put it out, and even with the Radiance, it's not going to matter. Smilk. The bot lane as fast as he wants to go.
GHS TP.
Okay. Yeah, going for tier 2 when there would be 2 lanes pressured would not be ideal. So you'll just temporarily back. They'll give up the pressure of the tier 2 just to get better map control, and then they'll group again with the Aegis before it expires and go for another objective.
No surprise at all when Matumberman's got the Academ Scepter queued up. This is going to be all about delay, split push, high ground, and get some kind of trade-off against evil geniuses.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, GH also has a pretty fast Ags coming, considering the circles. He's already got a 4 staff. He's 2,000 gold away from finishing that. That could slow things down a bit, but it might. Like against a Lifestealer and a Viper, I don't think it's going to be able to stop those guys because they're naturally so tanky. They can just keep hitting the tower once in a while, even if they get blasted a bit.
Yep. It's better than it could have been for GH. The fact that you also get that extra cash from the stacks, he got all of that from the Ancients, plus the levels that came along with it. And he's getting a lot of money from this top lane, continuously pressuring him with a little bit from the trees. It doesn't matter if the bear doesn't get the last hits for the money.
Oh, they're gonna find Dark later. Oh, he doesn't see.
Oh boy.
Must have been looking somewhere else, gets caught. No Shadow Realm, and that's an instant death. They'll try pressuring the tower at least.
Are they actually gonna try and fight up on top? GH gives...
They'd love a solo hero if they can find one. I think that Sumail here.
Sumail gonna slide a fist trying to go after the bear. The bear's in the trees and has return available.
Just dodging the fear, basically. Sumail again pushes out a creep wave. 6, 0, and 6 right now in Sumail.
Because creep skipping the mid. This is what this game has turned into right now. Jump in, creep skip, and then probably just TP away to safety. He's got a dire observe ward, so he knows what you can get away with.
Cool, abusing chakra magic as well.
Yeah, Courier.
Timber does like no, didn't he?
Yeah.
Getting this last hit would be really hard. Yasha coming out for RTZ as well, so he's just all worried about movement speed right now.
Sumail, he's chasing GH. GH, 4 staffs up, another spirit jump over. GH, the side of his steering chains will get very optimistic TP away to safety. And it doesn't work, but on bottom lane, Mind Control now has a full Solar Crest available. He's looking, starts it up, still has 4 staffs, so even with the slow from fear, he can still move around. The bears is coming in through the rear. And okay, so is RTZ right onto Matumberman. He'll move over towards the bear. That's so much swipe damage from RTZ. Liquid had no other choice but to retreat.
And they've got to defend this. I mean, basically everybody on EG is here. The creep waves are in perfect positions. This is finally time for them to force a fight.
There was no early Illuminate spam either. The Keeper of the Light being down.
Yeah, just getting alive now. I mean, he's going to be able to slow things down, but... And I don't think they have a mech yet either, so this is a little hard for EG if they kill a creep wave, but RTZ can raid, go high ground, slap the tower.
Creep wave gone. It took 2 Quill sprays from Mind Control as well as the Illuminate, and the creep wave just cannot survive.
Oh, maybe maybe EG does have to go back then.
They're pulling the mid creep wave over so RTZ can farm it and keep the pressure on bottom. Sumail's the only one who really has to go back because he can just be back into the fight, or spirit back into the fight.
Just a maximization thing. Pull the creep wave to RTZ. He doesn't have to run as far. He feels really safe hitting creeps right under tower because there are so few disables. I mean, the one thing that would be dangerous would be a terrorize into like a Bramble Maze or terrorize into Mana Leak, but they don't even have Mana Leak yet. It's only a level 9 Keeper of the Light. Nothing weird here. Just Liquid's at such a disadvantage right now that they're forced to play with less resources. It's very reminiscent of the last game, but I don't see the same light at the end of the tunnel that Anti-Mage provided.
Don't worry about what just happened before, Sumail. Nobody saw you TP onto a creep that was dying to an entire wave, so you have now walked to the top lane. But it can all pan out if you can just kill onto GH. Side of fist, holding the steering chains, wants to ensure that GH just can't TP out, and there's your 4 stuff. No TP. GH realizes he's dead.
Clearly looking for the saw this very similar today between Vici Gaming. If you can just catch those guys as they're just crossing the map, or you know that they're going to go prep to split push, there now it just makes your push even easier. They're they're not going to be able to go high ground for a while just because the coddle spam, but again, their cores are survivable. They push out the waves, they get farm on 3 lanes, and Liquid has to deal with the scraps. And in the meantime, can hit neutral camps between each wave. So they could just accelerate in terms of gold advantage really hard right now.
Samel's going to find no. On the L-Dog.
On the bright side, for Liquid though, there's no Aegis now, so they have a better opportunity to win. But heroes don't have a lot of items. Dark Willow is super poverty right now. Coddle is their farm support, who's not necessarily the best team fight gank hero. It's more of like map control and stuff. And look at this, they can just instantly.
Goodbye, Kuro.
That's like support Tusk dealing half HP damage with an ultimate. That almost never happens from Wall Punch. So bad place for Liquid.
It does still beg that question, right? Like we're wondering about it. What happens when a Dark Willow has no farm in one of the top tier teams that are out there? And well, we're kind of getting the answer to all of this. Bottom lane, Miracle. He's in trouble. Searing parts his TP very quickly, but the snowball will cancel out the TP. And that's a big kill. No Timber for 52 seconds. They needed his chakram to keep the high ground deep in EG. And this feels reminiscent of a final in Frankfurt. Like this is 19-0 of EG this time.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy they haven't got a single kill yet, but with the heroes that they have, it makes sense. Lack of disables. I think Dark Willow was also under farm last game too, but I think he only had like 200 GPM at the end of the game. He's buying a lot of wards and things, but he still felt his impact just because of the circumstances of the game. The heroes they had, how they matched up. But for the map, entirely EG. I feel like we haven't seen Liquid cross the river once this game.
The bear is crossed, and that's all. Like, Bear right now is actually farming up 2 camps in the Radiant jungle. But top lane, GH, he's going to be really sad about this one. He's getting closer and closer towards this Aghanim Scepter, but he just cannot complete it.
He went to force that first, and it's a great item, but his opponents have blink daggers and skills that gap close. If he's remotely out of position, he's easy to kill.
They need some kind of way just to get multiple heroes into safety inside their base. They have to play the positional game. Even with Illuminate spam, it may not be enough.
Just because EG, as long as they don't do anything super over aggressive, if they don't do anything stupid, I think is safe to say, then Liquid not going to get those opportunities. And bread and butter, this is the best thing, this is the thing that they're best, that they force, this is their play style. Push lanes with cores, choke out the map, and have so much overwhelming gold advantage. It doesn't matter what heroes you have at a high ground.
It's called farm areas with bears on the opposite side of the map, where EG just will never be. This is actually getting really Matumman is only 500 gold away from having the Aghanim Scepter, and then the bear can finally start attacking.
It's also very depressing because he's farming neutral camps with just Radiance Burn. This is a Mud Golem camp. He's waves, he doesn't feel comfortable doing that. So he knows if his bear gets ganked 300 gold, he resummons. If they go high ground and kill the bear again, all his net worth is worth nothing. He goes down to like a 500 net worth hero for his boots. He's got to sell 600. Can't discount that.
If is TPing over, we'll realize that something is not right here because there's a bunch of shard golems and this. And with this creep wave, actually there's still not enough money for the Aghanims. But Roche going down for EG. Second one, but she's to be available too. EG in a very good position to fight. You got that Aghanims freshly over on the pipeline. And the slot's open for grab the Aegis if he wants to go aggressively high ground, which is exactly what will happen. Fear will take the cheap.
And the egg of Aegis is almost surely going to lead EG finally hitting the moment where they feel like going high ground. We can see that they have a massive advantage. Liquid and EG likely know that as well, but it's always scary when you're this far up. In a game that looks unlosable, are you going to do the overly aggressive thing that leads to Liquid pulling a teamfight win? And if that happens, EG's out of the tournament, so they have to be super careful here.
This is not what you wanted to send the bear. RT's going to find it, and a quick return. This actually hurts a lot because right now Matumman's wanting to use that TP to get the bear to continue the creep skipping, so now he can't do it for over a minute.
Because the best thing he can do right now is delay EG being able to go high ground by having creeps. That's cancelled now, it's going to go top, but that's not going to stop them in the mid lane necessarily.
Sumail has an invis rune too. Like, his timing, which it will be a savage roll, and Sumail dodges it with half a second to get the distance, to get the return off. It will not happen, however. There is a resummon on, but not something you want to be burning before a team fight.
Good successful first game. And high ground time, I think.
GA has the Aghanim Scepter. So you still got another 3 minutes 20 seconds until daytime.
Man, they want to go high ground so, but there's just never any creep there. They just keep blasting them away. Miracle moving to the bot lane, push out that one. keep playing this game. Push out a lane, sometimes in a dangerous way. Also, then it makes it harder for EG to hit buildings.
No, EG's give as that's Viper strike up to mind control. Damn, he's really tacky. Sitting on the front lines with the Bramble down. EG trying to be careful about retreating out. But they still do heavy damage to the tier 3 tower, so by a bit, they'll be able to get through this.
Earn him up, get him some heals, and then next creep wave they're going to do the same thing. Hit as long as they can, pop Rage towards the end of this when his HP gets a bit low, and then take the tower. Instantly rages off the blinding light.
Fortification has to be burned by Team Liquid as Bristleback forced after way to safety. Even Miracle with the world trying to keep Easy down low, but the jump hit. Woo, that was quick.
In with him. But he just wants the ball time and he gets it done. Tower's gone. Half HP on Arteezy, uses Rage, and now he's still got Aegis.
Yeah, even if you do catch him, like, you've still got the armlet toggle. You've got Samel's going to TP down towards the bottom. The Lone Draw Bear was pushing this one out. So they are getting a small trade-up. Miracle. Anyone going to force that Bear? Right now he's trapped inside the shards with safety to come his way. Reactive armor charges, they are holding on to it, and there's you're disengaged. The Terrorize from Kuro creating space, but they've lost their Simbasaur. Arteezy, the Agency, all of all. They haven't lost anybody yet for Evil Cheese. They want to keep going, they want to keep it flawless. Oh, at the moment, Arteezy will slap down the melee racks. The Searing Chains on mind control, but EG got what they wanted. And will they get back out again safely? Arteezy, he's actually just rotating in towards the mid. He wants to keep going. He actually picked up the cheese as well, so he's got that extra bit of life. Rage is beating into the tier 3 tower. And maybe this is that time they disengage now.
I feel like it's a pretty good time to continue. They're all pretty full. Arteezy is going to get healed all the way here. Cheese is here as well. And with the lack of disables, I mean, it's basically without use. Another tower goes down. If they get 2 racks here at 30 minutes, it's looking like Liquid's not going to be able to come back from this one. So they need to get some kind of a catch here, but it's so difficult against Lifestealer. He just sits in the front and he's got so many survivability.
Change from Samael. They want to timber chain away, but Samael and Grit so quick in on the stuns. Miracle can't even timber chain out. Reactive armor charges just don't exist for him anymore. Again, mind control. Now the front line is trying to work with the Bear. Miracle low on life, over on the side. He wants to start regenerating. You only do that back in the fountain. Team Liquid, is this the time you call it? You're getting completely destroyed inside your base. Samael wants to go for more. He wants to keep this stat padding continuing. Competitive games have never been this one-sided against Liquid. And EG now going for Megas. Mind control, back to the front lines, but back pull as well.
And it looks like that's going to be it. I mean, 30 triple racks here. Liquid kill creeps easily.
No. Again. Samael is just so good. This jumps back in after Kuro. Kuro has to escape that Shadow Realm. GH up. They keep the Searing Chains on. GH almost in base. Does pick out to fierce damage. They are finishing this job. Liquid are making them work for it. Maybe they're just looking for some extra time just to discuss game 3. Either that or they're hoping for something miraculous. They're jumping around the back lines. Kuro Miracle don't find the target. Embedded. It's EG fighting GH. He's down as well. The creeps are too big. All 3 for Evil Geniuses. 27-0.
Let's just watch Liquid dying.
Will we see a Liquid kill, you think, in these highlights?
I think you can replay this again and again, and that won't happen.
Yeah.
Maybe
some Photoshop skills. I don't know. Yeah, this was just.
So explain. Joking aside, because obviously when it's a crushing defeat like this, there isn't an awful lot of analysis to do. But just for those that are more new to Dota, Cap, explain why this was such a one-sided victory.
So critically important is that Evil Geniuses put a lot of pressure on the Timbersaw to start things out, because I think the Timbersaw was going to be the biggest opportunity for Team Liquid to be able to stall out the game. It was like their best team fighting hero. It could have had a relatively good game here if it actually had a strong laning phase and got to that tanky sort of very hard to kill point. But they shut him down early, and then the rest of the team just kind of keeps on falling over. Dark Willow.
Look at him laughing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to wonder how seriously they were taking that.
That Roche player, I think Kuroki actually could have gotten the Roche. I don't think he realized how low Roche was. The Shadow Realm, I think, was enough damage to take it out.
Maybe.
Not that it matters.
Yeah,
that would have been 1 kill.
Yeah.
Kind of, right? But yeah, you're right. The Timbersaw is not a great, like, if you just own them really early, very hard to get back on track. And, I mean, it's just it's very methodical from EG because they got a bunch of those kills early, then they just 5-man each tower, one by one, got map control, and at a certain point, there's not a whole lot you can do, especially when there's a bristleback on the other team. My lord, this hero's garbage. I'm going to say it time and time again. I do not believe in this hero at all.
I didn't believe it in the first 2 times that I saw it in the group stage.
I can lip read, and I think he just said, oh, damn.
Yes, oh, darn. Darn it.
Shoot. Guys, looks like we lost. Yeah, I think the first 2 times I saw it, I thought it was kind of questionable, but theoretically, I countered to the gyrocopter. Third time I saw it with the Wisp, I was like, okay, this can kind of work. But Liquid running it, I had hopes. I'm a big Bristleback fan. I actually like the hero. I wish it was better, but it just seems like it was never destined to do a whole lot here. Lifestealer continues to be one of the better heroes, though, of the tournament. I don't know what his record is, but I definitely feel his impact very strongly in this one, as well as a little bit in Katowice, but more so here in Bucharest. So overall, I think that that pickup, as well as the last Ember Spirit. I mean, we don't see a whole lot of Ember Spirit, but this is a great game for it, just like the Animage was a great game for Liquid, despite very rarely being picked up. All the stars aligned. Yep. Finally make it a good game for a bad hero.
If you're watching online, take a screenshot, because that's something you might not see ever again. Liquid not scoring a single kill, and therefore Evil Geniuses not having a single death on any of their players. So now the standout in terms of the statistics, 11, 0, and 12 on
I think,
Ember.
For me, Misery was by far the best player that game for EG.
Explain why.
If you go back to the old days of LGD Int, Chen was his hero. He made this his hero. Such a godly performance just overall, like very early aggression. I mean, looking at their lineup, like, oh, Timbersaw can do okay, right? It's just searing chains and then maybe some stuns from Chen. Chen had multiple chain stuns over and over. Just ended up just cleaning up the Timbersaw.
Yeah, and
again.
I think at a certain point, right, like this has to be a bit of a milestone, right? You play literally a perfect game against the TI champs. Surely Evil Geniuses is tier 1, right?
Sometimes they are.
At this point, I just feel like you're trying to tilt Blitz.
I mean,
he's watching somewhere and he's shaking his fist at you.
No, I'm just saying there should be some punks satisfied out there, that's all.
Okay. Do they not have to win the series?
No, that's all.
No.
You just got 27-0 games.
As this tournament it's a best of 1 game here in this tournament, so Evil Geniuses have done it.
I'm not up with the meta.
We can go home now, I'm pretty sure.
Because I never quite understand when I go onto Reddit, are we hating on EG this week or are we liking on EG? I never really fit in with the meta.
See, listen, Paul, there is a very, very thin line that exists, a small group of people who are neither Evil Geniuses haters nor are they lovers. They're very small people. You either are one side of the line or the other when it comes to 99% of the population.
Can we talk about that just for a moment here?
Sure. Yeah, take over.
The Sumail tweet. I have to say, okay, just to give you an idea, I'm a big sports fan, right? I kind of like trash talk every now and then.
Yeah.
I didn't follow Sumail on Twitter.
Why?
I followed him immediately after he made that tweet. I love that tweet.
Yeah.
Because, like, you know the kid, he's not really that arrogant,
No.
right? Like,
It's when you get to know him,
yes.
and you know, super nice guy, really good guy.
It's just like his brother Yawar.
Exactly, but he's just a bit leery, and I like that.
Yeah. I mean, Yawar is pretty toxic.
So wait, you followed him after that tweet, but not all the way back at the DAC tweet about China?
No, you see, you've got to go all the way back, and that's when you properly follow him. Yeah. So you're not really a fan yet, Suns fan.
I just started, guys.
Yeah, you're not Sumail fan yet.
Already here at the analyst desk. Well done.
Yeah.
Damn, I'm good.
All right, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll have our third and final game in our third quarterfinal. It's all tied up here, nicely set up for what is effectively now a best of 1 between Liquid and Evil Geniuses, and it's coming next.
Motivation. How do you find it in a game like Dota that can break you down? Now, you can hear the motivational words from the TI7 champs to get you through your games.
We're cursed. We can't win a major.
Cleanse your soul. Presenting the Team Liquid Motivational City, featuring real quotes from Team Liquid. Quote,
There's no justice in this world. You have to work for it. If it feels good, it's good.
Ready?
I'm not even a player. Why do I have to do this?
No chains can hold me. Neither can they hold you.
If life gives you melons, you probably have dyslexia.
in stores now.
You can do it! Oops.
Actual game-winning advice sold separately.
Ready. Steady. Game on.
Welcome back to the Bucharest Major. One more game. That's what they always say, right? Well, we've definitely only got one more game tonight because it's the last of the best of three in our third quarter-final. EG and Liquid are all tied up. Let's get the thoughts of Cap and Suns fan before we head into the third and final draft. Cap, all on this one then. We're effectively back to a best of one.
Yes,
As
we
intended,
are.
right, by the tournament.
I mean, surely Evil Geniuses has got to be feeling a little bit of momentum after a perfect game against Liquid, right?
Well, you'd hope so, wouldn't you? From their point of view, you'd hope that actually that's buoyed them now. I know there was a little bit of messing around in there, and you could tell the Liquid boys probably after about 20 minutes, we're kind of like, guys, I think this one might be lost, but we'll just carry on and have a chat and have some fun or something, or try and find I don't know what they were doing in there. But they were obviously having fun, because you saw them. They were very relaxed in there. They were laughing and joking. So, okay, cool. So it hasn't affected them mentally. They're going to go into this last one with the objective of crushing EG.
Yeah. Evil Geniuses definitely proved to me that they can close out these early games, that their aggressive lineup. I thought they were going to be left in almost a similar situation where they were going to have to hunt down this lone druid, split pushing them, and deal with this timber saw. And if they couldn't kill the timber saw, then maybe they were going to run out of steam, similar to the way that they did against that Venomancer. But it didn't happen at all. They actually closed out the game beautifully, right? They actually did not make any mistakes whatsoever when it came to their dives and their target prioritization and great focus on objectives.
I think the psychological effect that a win or a loss like this is actually interesting, because I've been a part of this, at least in the same room as some of these guys, right? It's not as big of a deal as you might think, like at least the layman, right? So let's look at it from EG's side. They win, it feels like an absolute stomp. It's like you're playing against bots. You don't really feel that good about it at the end of the day. Right. And on Liquid's side, you feel like you are the bot. You're like, it's whatever. Like, especially team this experience, like, let's just play the next. Who cares?
Yeah.
It actually has, I don't think it has any effect onto the next game. But momentum is important, especially in a very long series. But it's best of 3. It's not that long, really. So,
I mean, surely there's an inkling in the minds of the EG players that they're going to go, that's what we thought we could do. Now we know we can do it.
I mean, it depends on the player to player as well, because you have to have the killer instinct, which I think somebody like Sumail definitely has killer instinct. Okay, what do we got here? Viper's ban now.
Are they gonna pick Coddle on Liquid? Because otherwise, Evil Geniuses have the notorious Sumail combination, where they enable his Beastmaster with Keeper of the Light. And failing that, they could also get Chen, which they also use to enable the Beastmaster.
Yeah, Chen Beastmaster combo is pretty dirty, actually.
Yeah,
lots of auras.
Insta-Coddle. So because the Chen, I think ET actually kind of likes playing around Chen because of the extra creeps and the spirit interaction. I think Keeper of the Light was definitely the better pickup here.
Well, okay then. Give them possibly their best combination right now.
I think what Liquid are going to do is they're going to try and get a hero that can deal with Beastmaster, Keeper of the Light, and they're going to run an aggro lane of their own with ET +1. And they're going to say, okay, we're going to lose our safe lane, but we're going to make sure they lose their safe lane too. Or at least it's going to be a tough matchup.
This is a super fast draft, by the way.
I mean, the teams are relatively comfortable with each other. And this is the one thing that EG doesn't have the advantage in. They get the Beastmaster, and you pretty much 99% know that Sumail is playing it, right? So you don't really have that ace up your sleeve, so to speak. So now they're banning for Arteezy, even Fear, because he's played a little bit Death Prophet as well, but the Morphling Morphling just feels... I feel like this hero is still, even though it's been picked in the second phase a lot, I think it's still kind of underappreciated. I think there hasn't been enough time for players to truly master it yet. I actually think like in a month it'll be first ban.
Maybe. I mean, Arteezy has been fantastic on it as well.
Yes.
As you say, I think we talked about it earlier with the doppelganger. Was that here? It's been such a long day, I can't remember.
What's that?
Didn't we talk about Arteezy on the Morphling earlier?
Briefly.
Yes.
Very briefly.
He's definitely pushed the limits of that hero quite well. There were so many situations where, like, say, he had it against Razor, and he would every single time just turn himself into a Razor and then get the static link on that hero.
As a caster, do you enjoy casting the new Morphling? I find it super confusing in fights.
It's very confusing, but I think
you just have to watch for
the high-level plays, there's a higher capacity for next-level plays, and I think that makes it exciting as a caster. You just have to have a keen eye and make sure you don't get lost.
Yeah, you want options, don't you? You want to have heroes with options, game-changing options that, if they come out, it naturally excites everyone.
Yeah, you don't want to have those sort of situations where, like, oh, I know what's going to happen in this fight.
Yeah.
Like, this hero is going to get run at, it has no options, it's going to die, and that's it.
It's partly why Rubik's one of my favorite heroes.
Back to the Veno.
So I think Venomancer might be able to deal with a Coddle Beastmaster with the right support behind him. The spam is going to be a problem for him. The Axis spam and like him being pushed underneath his tower, that's going to be a big problem for the first couple of levels. But if he can get like level 4 or 5, have the higher level in wards, then maybe it's possible for him to deal with that. I remember there are other heroes that they tried against this. I've seen Lifestealer, I've seen Ursa. Those kind of heroes that have strong 1v1 matchups against Beastmaster have been attempted against the dual lane, and it's gone okay. But you're not going to hear any ringing endorsements out of me.
Yeah, it's still quite open though, overall for Liquid. I mean, do you think it's any kind of disadvantage taking your 2 supports first 2, as opposed to EG taking a core and a support? Do you think it really matters that much these days?
I kind of like the... It depends on what your supports are. I think in some ways there's a limited number of 5 positions, so I'm always kind of down with a strong team fighting 5 position and then one of your cores. I think your 4 positions sometimes offer you some counter play, but again, it depends on which ones. Because ET, I think, is one of those heroes you can always pick up in the first 1-2, and you'll never feel too bad about it. As
Team Liquid's turn to pick.
Hero is going to get run at. It has no options. It's going to die, and that's it.
It's probably why Rubik's one of my favorite heroes.
Oh, back to the Veno.
So I think Venomancer might be able to deal with a Coddle Beastmaster with the right support behind him. The spam is going to be a problem for him. The axes spam and like him being pushed underneath his tower, that's going to be for the first couple of levels. But if you can get like level 4 or 5, have the higher level in wards, then maybe it's possible for him to deal with that. I remember there are other heroes that they tried against this. I've seen Lifestealer, I've seen Ursa. Those kind of heroes that on 1v1 matchups against Beastmaster have been attempted against the dual lane, and it's gone okay. But you're not going to hear any ringing endorsements out of me.
That's still quite open though, overall for Liquid. I mean, do you think it's any kind of disadvantage taking your 2 supports as opposed to EG taking a core and a support? Do you think it really matters that much these days?
I kind of like the... It depends on what your supports are. I think in some ways there's a limited number of 5 positions, so I'm always down with a strong team fighting 5 position and then one of your cores. I think your 4 positions sometimes offer you some counter play, but again, it depends on which ones. Because ET, I think, is one of those heroes you can always pick up in the first 1-2, and you'll never feel too bad about it, as long as you don't get some sort of laning phase counter.
So, Evil Geniuses are 10 wins from the last 11 Male has played.
Pretty good.
Only Virtus Pro have managed to beat them in the last couple of months.
How many times has Lion been picked?
Not a huge amount, but Misery has been playing it recently, and it is one of his most played.
Yeah, and I think
they played it 3 times this year.
You know the build cap, do they get mana drain early now because of the slow? It was buffed again?
It's like 1 level of Hex, I believe. Like, so we're still going to do like a 4-1, kind of like 2 or...
Like 1 or...
Yeah, sort of like that. So they don't need the higher levels of Hex early on. I think they like the line here because it's it's one of those initiators that makes sure that you get the disable on somebody and you blow him up and he doesn't get any spells, and that's exactly what you want to do against the Venomancer. The worst thing that can happen is that you go on a Venomancer, you almost kill him, and then he gets off Gale, and your team fight is just screwed. So I think that option is good for him. Not sure if there's anything else that really stands out against Bane or ET that makes the line good.
Okay. Liquid's going to take Lifestealer this time.
Yeah.
No vehicle as of yet. Not that it really matters, especially last game didn't matter at all. What is when you look at Beastmaster, what do you think is a good counter to him? I think of like back in the day, Clockwork was a decent counter because you can just rocket the Hawk, but obviously can't do that anymore.
I think the biggest thing is to make sure that you don't lose your lane too heavily, because I think that a Beastmaster properly enabled is one of the best run-at-you heroes that he shuts down cores. So I think Lifestealer is okay in being able to deal this. He has natural sustain. His Feast is going to be good against any strength hero. He can kind of stand toe-to-toe. The worst thing is when you get axed and you have this extra damage on you that you have to walk away from the Beastmaster and he gets free hits on you. So you want to be able to challenge that. in some way.
Into Beastmaster, isn't it?
And also with the Veno, because that's actually Matumba Man's both of those. I mean, Miracle just doesn't really play it.
Yeah, maybe we're going to have the Venomancer in a mid position here. Right. Matumba Man's playing that, and then we have like some sort of Miracle Lifestealer.
What about old school off-lane of Veno?
Off-lane Venomancer is the other option.
Yeah.
Because you're right, yeah, I don't see Miracle playing any of these.
No,
I mean, he can definitely do it, but...
He has played Lifestealer, but not very much. I think it's like five times. Yeah, he has 5 games lifetime. But did play it a couple of days ago in the group stages against VG. Before that, it was 7 months ago that he last played it.
Brood mothered.
They sure have.
Oh.
They have nothing against this hero right now. Infest, it's AoE.
It is now.
Can you go battle? Do you want to go battle for your Lifestealer? I don't know.
Ooh. So you need to have, you need to make sure you match up against Venomancer. Doesn't really deal with it. His ward field gets gobbled up by the spiders, I believe. Gale is a threat at like level 2, but I don't think it's quite good enough. So
there is one saving grace here. Unlike a lot of teams who have Broodmother, Virtus Pro spring to mind, who I think have only lost Broodmother in the last year, do lose a lot of games in comparison to other teams when they use the Brood. In fact, they've lost 3 of their last 5, yes. But that said, the 3 were all 6 months ago. They haven't played the Brood in a long time.
Oh, so a lot of them have not been under Misery.
None under Misery at all. Okay. This is very much a Misery pick.
I mean, Misery will be playing, I assume, the Lion.
Yes. Yeah, no, I didn't mean that he'd be playing the Brood, but
right.
It's just down to him picking it.
It's more about his comfort level for a Brood pick. The Brood just feels amazing, right? I mean, you do have Elder Titan who's going to get a lot of damage from the spiders, I guess. Astral Spirit. I mean, I was going to say Timber, but Timber's really bad against the rest of the hero. I mean, that's the thing, right? Who do you pick against Brood that isn't bad against the rest? Especially with Beastmaster. I mean, they have so much single target burst with Lion and Beastmaster specifically.
And now the Lifestealer feels a lot worse because of the Razor pickup. He not only has the Beastmaster Roar, but now the static link he has to worry about.
Lincoln's time? It's not even enough.
10 seconds remaining.
Rough. Can they pull something out of their hat here as their final pick that makes everything okay? Tiny would have been good, but that was obviously banned by EG in the last phase here. But they're going to top it off with an Omni Knight. Okay. Makes sense on a certain level, but I don't know if that's enough.
The Omni Knight here is an
like
attempt to be able to get some of the definitely a big physical damage focus between, like, all 3 of their are very much focused on right click, physical damage.
It is a Miracle Lifestealer, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, that's like the hardest carry on this side for Team Liquid, so it does make sense.
It's only his 6th ever game.
What do they need their matchup to be? Maybe they might be okay with Venomancer versus Brood. You're still good, but they don't want Omni versus Razor when it comes to the laning phase. I think there are like too many laning phase issues where Liquid need to be able to find the perfect matchup, and I'm not sure what that is.
It's going to be a tough game for him, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be really tough in the laning phase.
Is it going to be too addiction time?
I think the laning phase plays too important a role when it comes to this part of the meta, so I am going to go for Evil.
I like EG's lineup a lot more, so I'm going to go with Liquid.
Nice.
I'm an analyst, by the way, in case you were wondering. I don't like to change my mind, Red Eye. I made a prediction, sticking with it through thick and thin. I'm that kind of guy.
Good for you.
I'm going to be wrong, but silence.
At this point, I think it's been a long day, I guess. Let's get on with it, ladies and gentlemen. Purge are waiting to bring you 3. Enjoy.
that you're sitting next to me.
You're not Suns fan?
I'm not Suns fan, yes. Game 3, EG versus Liquid. It seems like the draft started to get a little bit off the rails for Liquid halfway through that, and it doesn't seem to have changed at the end of the draft.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting how much it's changed between the first game, the second game, and now the third game looks kind of reminiscent of number 2. Just, they keep grabbing these strong lane heroes, and they keep grabbing these Brood has really just thrown a wrench in Liquid's plans. The Lion is maybe the only pick that I saw where I was a little unsure about.
It's like does this really make a lot of sense? But we were talking about it before, and you're like, it's that lockdown, right? You wanted a lockdown from a support.
Yes, in the first game they had no disable, or at least they had little disable. They have Roar this game, but just Roar alone is usually not enough, so pair it with something else, and you've got like plenty of disable. If you're ganking a hero, helps you catch up in the game. Liquid did not have that last game, that's why they got no kills. And this game with the Lifestealer pick, it looked like a solid hero that you wanted to use. But with the line on the enemy team, Lifestealer seems like the obvious pick. I don't know if Liquid necessarily was baited into it. It not being on EG's team gives them the easiest Brood game.
The smile on Kuro's face because the joke that's currently going through in inside the chat. Crit's asking if someone's got a nosebleed.
Yeah, he said GH is bleeding. He got a headache from last game.
Yeah.
Should have taken it more easy on him last game.
Yeah.
So it's bleeding. It's EG's fault, basically.
Bleeding red. This isn't what's meant to happen. They've gone too far into the blood.
It was all a lie.
Yeah. Yeah. See,
Wrong team.
It's marketing. That's all this is. It's marketing. So Team Liquid versus EG, our biggest brand matchup of the day.
I'm pretty sure it's in their contract. Like you're not allowed to.
You're not allowed to bleed red.
Yeah, exactly.
Not allowed.
Not
okay.
on camera. That's what pause.
I thought
Totally.
They're meant to bleed other beverages, which are not the sponsors of this. That out to my beverage, which is right next to me. Okay, so as far as the matchups go, the panel was talking about it. The matchups you don't want to have. Let's talk about matchups you do want to have if you're EG, if you're Liquid. How do you shuffle your games to get the good matchup against EG?
The obvious one is Omni Knight versus Brood because so you can last hit and trade more effectively against Brood. On the downside, with the longer cooldown of Purification, it's a little bit harder to find to be survivable at all stages against Brood, because if he uses Purification offensively or to last hit, you can come and hit him with spiders. So their Liquid definitely wants Omni to be against the Brood Mother in lane, but they also might do something like Omni versus Razor potentially, and then shift the Omni into the Brood lane once Brood's level 3, level 4.
Well, let's get underway. It is game 3 time. Liquid versus Evil resumed, ready to go, and this crowd, which has been with us all day, still seems very lively going into the evening. So let's push it. Our final match, and we'll see who gets the upper hand. So laning wise, it looks like we are going to have Beastmaster Coddle for EG up on the north, unless they want to change up their mind. GH's ET absolutely wrecked with this thing before, so I'm looking forward to seeing if EG will actually block the small camp that is right next to that top lane. He'll be teaming up with Venomancer, so Matumman does go for the off lane. Brood going mid, no surprise, up against Mind Control's Omni Knight. And that leaves the bottom dual lane, which is Arteezy's Razor working with Crit against Miracle's Stealer and Kuro's Bane.
Which makes a lot of sense, because Brood kind of has to go mid. In the other lanes, he can run out of webs. Maybe if he either needs to be like safe lane with a fairly stacked lane or in the mid lane. So the Omni one, I don't think we're going to see him dodge, but ideally EG just wants to have Razor limit his last hitting and shut him down in lane.
Well, the contesting runes, Crit as well as Arteezy, going to have a towards Miracle thanks to Crit's Impale stun. Arteezy able to steal a couple of points of damage and just as well as Miracle.
Forces 2 tangos out of that. Super valuable for Razor, considering that's the start of the wave. And by the time the creeps meet again, he's going to be close to his next static link. So good start for EG, albeit a small one.
Looks like GH is already rotating lanes. He went Boots first, just going to head down towards the bottom, using Venomancer in a 1-on-2. This mid matchup will be a lot of fun. See how well Mind Control plays this. We've seen him run these mids versus melee cores very well. Batrider versus DK earlier on in the tournament. Up against one of the most feared heroes in the game right now, Mother, and have an easy straight up counter to it.
Yeah, draft wise, it's something you have to be really careful about. If Fear does get enough last hits and he's doing fine with his Quelling Blade, he can put himself in a safe position, and eventually he can play around and deal with the Omni Knight, but he won't be able to snowball super hard in his lane at least. So that's one good thing that Liquid has going for them. And hypothetically, if the Brood doesn't do that amazing, I think in the long run that could mean that EG is not going to be as it looked in the draft.
Well, they found Arteezy for half a second. GH has a little bit of bonus damage in plus 15. No stacks for him to really work on, but Kuro and GH understand it. They need to zone out Arteezy, need to create space. Miracle needs to be a factor in this game, unlike game 2.
So, Arteezy was basically trying to sap as much experience as possible. He was actually successful here, getting 3/4 of a level. But now Crit, what he's done is planned ahead and prepped for the creep wave. But now that he's pulled it all the way here, that guarantees a fast level 2 now for Razor, and ultimately a better laning stage.
GH, to try and block him in, Crit won't allow it, impacts quickly.
Like, the big weakness for Lion is that in the laning stage, he's actually quite vulnerable. He's forced to go boots here. His damage is not that great, and even his level 1 nuke is okay. 80 damage second. But if he gets run at, he is very vulnerable, and that plus opportunity for Liquid to try to exploit it. So smart for them to do what they just did here. Guarantees a fast level 2 on Razor, and now they can fight a little bit better.
I was actually going to wonder with Matumba and how his build would go on this Venomancer. It is possible for Venomancers on the off lane just to back out and try and farm up inside the small camps near the lane. But he's gone on so far. See if he changes it up at all.
There's a little bit of lane safety. He can possibly basically just stay alive if he gets in trouble. And that's maybe one way that Beastmaster is going to be weak. He's not going to be able to just chase him down.
Misery starts channeling up the Illuminate. They're stealing off the damage already. Crit gets a nice double stun, but it won't stop Miracle from getting the last point of damage. And GH knows he's low. TP's all the way back to base, so EG do the rotation. It was scouted out by the Liquid Observer Ward, and it did not fall for it. They get the kill nice and quick.
And that was that line vulnerability. Dies very fast. Possibly set up a kill on Venomancer now. He's sitting at about half HP, does have a salve, and doesn't heal up all the way. And he's definitely going to be vulnerable to Lion. No, Lion's just going to go for pulling. I think he's realized this isn't going to work out.
Samael's diving. He's not in a baton this time around, and you've also got GH available. Barrett's up. He's trying to get in front of Samael, looking for the body block. Matumba doesn't actually have the Gale anymore, so here's your stomp. Allows him just to change around the position and get back in front of Samael. Still ticking down with those poison sticks. It's going to be the one charge, but the Spirit amplifying up, giving the kill to Matumba, who now follows up in the Gale. Crit just came to help, but all he does is feed. And then even into bottom lane. Arteezy standing his ground against Miracle. It's the open wounds which is slowing him down. Miracle doesn't have the movement speed on him anymore. So Arteezy valves and then adds a lot more pressure with Misery's Illuminate.
Being Lion is a hard life, man. Very easy to die. He even interrupts his pull to go try to save Sumail there and ends up not getting the experience that would have given him a level 2. So 4 minutes in and this Lion's still level 1. A weak early game hero, and he's just going to live there for a long period. Like Elder Titan's level 3. That's going to do way more.
Enjoy level 1, Crit.
I mean, he'll get some levels eventually, but...
He's doing the pull now, so this will give him level 2. Matumba won't move over to try and contest. H wants to road.
Maybe just Sumail feeling too confident from riding off of the high of last game. Perhaps diving under tower, but Gale's so dangerous. It slows you for so long that if you're out of position, it takes a long time to get back to safety.
My Control's having a really fun time in mid. Like you mentioned, the Broodmother wouldn't go My Control very happily. Getting levels. The number 1 net worther on the field. He's a 400, 600 gold in front of Fear.
Just kills 5 spiders there. It's such a great nuke against them because they actually have a lot of magic resistance, but he's dealing pure damage, which means here on out, he just one-shots most of the spiders. They each have 250 HP. He'll need a 4th point to be able to kill an entire stack of spiders. Such a good matchup advantage.
Good defensive observer ward now up from EG. They saw the movement to the top lane, so there was no trap, but Arteezy on bottom lane won't be so lucky. One last paw swing from Miracle, and Arteezy goes down. It is now looking like the opposite style of the game. It's nowhere near the advantage we saw in game 2, but it is 4 for Zip. EG not on the board yet.
That EG just wasn't able to stabilize their lanes in the same way as the previous game. Lion was kind of useless in the off lane. He was kind of a vulnerability. They need to get Razor farm. And with Liquid forcing a tri-lane down there right at the start, it's made it very difficult for EG to perfectly lane this out, basically. And Liquid is just stronger too. So they're making these lanes work. As long as it keeps doing Omni things in the mid lane, he's going to get out of control with farm.
GH is checking where Fear is with just the Spirit, trying to run it over the top of the Brute Mother, get all that bonus, and then he can just drag it up to the top to attack. It won't happen, however. As he backs up to pick up both the runes. In fact, Liquid claim all 4 bounty runes 6 minutes in. And Mind Control's being a little bit more proactive. Put down the Observer Ward, blocks up the Ancients. Fear having a lot of his mid lane resources taken away from him.
It hurt in the long run, but I'm sure the biggest threat, and one of the reasons Brood is usually so strong, is because he builds. And he can't do that with Omni Knight. It's actually, he uses spiders just to simply get last hits in the creep wave because there's always the threat of the Purify. He's got a little moment here between Purify nukes, but it's pretty short relatively, and the Brood would prefer to pressure heavier. I mean, you can change lanes, try to get some support kills by building up wolves and things, but these options are a little iffy right now. It'll have to happen soon once he hits like level 8, level 9.
And now he just left the lane. Now TG would love to do the same, but not in this kind of style. Sent back to Fountain just because of Death. Spirit Stomp connects onto Misery, and but the chaining is beginning. Misery under the tier 1 tower. You know they can keep diving. Kura gets double kill. He beats from Samael, comes too late. Level 6 has now leveled Raw, but there's no one else to help him. So they just changed the lane. Arteezy needs space to farm, so he goes top. He is the 4th lowest net worth right now. ET has more net worth than this Razor.
That's not a good position to be in. On the bright side, he does match up very well against Lifesteal in the mid-game fights, but with this kind of a net worth differential, I don't think it's even going to matter. It's just killing him while still being static linked.
Are they really going to have a... Okay, Miracle's leaving.
I mean, Beast is level 7 at least. They can certainly get a kill here if they find initiation.
X, crit, gonna get that double stun off. Level 2 stun, sorry, off. ET Stomp forced EG just to back off for half a second. TP support is on the way. Kura hiding in the tree. Samael comes in deep. The axes plus the blast will get the kill. But Matoma, he committed both Nova and Gale. Samael knows he's not going to live through this. As much damage as possible. Misery, so Misery can get the double kill. GH is low on life, but as you heal from Mind Control. Keeps GH alive and kills off Samael.
And those little moments there where it looks like Sumail's about to get a double kill are huge for him, but with Mind Control's rotation here, it shuts it down.
With these phase boots, his movement speed, he can just catch up to Crit.
So smart.
Okay, well, Crit runs into the Fog of War, says no to the bounty rune, and Mind Control will just accept having that. He needs to get back to mid to defend.
Yeah, if Omni caught up to him, it was going to be a kill. It's 4 points in Degenora against a simple Brown Boots line, he would have gone down. So ultimately, okay for EG that they did finally get some kills in the off lane. Sumail's going to be the big hero rotating, just because he can and he can set up and follow up on the disables that his other support is carrying. So Arteezy just now is Aquila, not the best place to be in when your Lifestealer's halfway to his armlet, but he needs a little bit of space and a little bit of items and hopefully some rotations for kills as well.
Yeah. The end of that Dire Observer, what at least lets him is up on top. That's Arteezy is holding back as close as he can to the tier 1 tower in the middle of Fear. There is no safe place to be. Mind Control very willing to go underneath the tower.
And again, he's taking his spiders. He's just sending them into the jungle instead. That's really all he can do.
Yeah, else he could just feed the beast that is Mind Control.
And Mind Control is going a pretty aggressive build, rushing Radiance before any transition items like Drum or Midas. But it's really worth it this game. His net worth is in a great place, and it's going to deal a lot of damage against enemy heroes.
Yep. Make it difficult to really attack. Mind Control's going to get... Spiderlings were coming in, but Mind Control's still got 13 one charges available. He's not phased. He's under minutes in the mid lane as a Omni Knight has already crushed 5k. And with that purification, 5.2k.
And now that the Ancients is blocked, this just, again, limits Fear's ability to accelerate in terms of farm. And Mind Control, the only way it's going to happen is if they do some kind of smoke gank and have both line and Beastmaster there. And it would be a big kill. Certainly lowering the timing of his Sacred Relic would help out, but it's kind of a hard game to do. It'd be kind of obvious when they're off the map for a bit. And if you mis-execute a little bit, or it sees you come, you don't get the kill and you waste your time. So it's just a hard position for EG right now.
Murray off to Crit, smoking on top of a Radiant Observer ward, the one that was blocking the camp. EG already knew about this ward because they already saw camp and split up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Must have been busy with something else. Okay, there's the ward. They can tell based on the movement. Makes his sentry pay off, but he does lose the smoke.
Top lane, Nightmare onto Arteezy. Miracle just rages, ready to fight. And there's not a lot that TZ can do about it apart from static link, but Crit can do more. By TPing in, adds a little bit more pressure.
And finally, Lifestealer's not doing that much damage to Razor as he gets more points in static link. This is him taking damage in lane and working even. And with the rotations, it's scary for him. Slightly misplaced on the Spirit there. Needed to be a bit behind him to secure that kill. But either way, it's kind of reminiscent of last game. Pressure him, make him not feel comfortable farming, and decrease his overall GPM.
I wonder how long until Matoma's like strapped up pressure. He's about to crack level 9, which would give him his level 4. Well, Samel's keep for the moment.
A lot of the supports on EG's side are very squishy, so even walking through playboards is dangerous.
Top lane, being tripped on the keeper of the light. Misery won't be able to escape. No one wants to stop as they connect as well. The supports through that approach and give Miracle a kill.
It's one of the really big things that Liquid has from their support duo. Elder Titan's team fight and gank capabilities, and Fiend's Grip is pretty much good against all of EG's heroes, really. If somebody gets caught with that and there's a life steal on top of you, you're gonna die. And he hit level 6 at a pretty decent timing. Just feels like Liquid has really good control.
EG was looking for something mid potentially. It would require that level 1 Hex from Crit to land on Omni and get the instant stun. Even then, I'm not certain it's enough until Brood has the Orchid. Mind Control is building up that cash. 3.5k gold currently in the bank account.
He's almost got his relic. This is insane.
12 minutes in. He's looking very nice.
Can't even get himself away from Omni Knight with 2 disables. He's still caught.
No, Crit. The physical damage, is it enough for Mind Control? No!
Very close. He does waste a lot of mind. Just kidding. He's going to kill the tower now.
He's wastes a lot of time.
Actually. This is not bad, but he can just TP.
Can he actually? He can't. Like the phase boots are on cooldowns. Yeah, TP will begin. And he'll go off to the shrine instead. So happy to take the damage and waste a little bit more time. This creates space for Miracle on top.
It's actually not bad because Fear can actually hit tower now. Kuro's in position, but
that's still a Bane versus a Brood.
And very easily Mind Control didn't go all the way back to Fountain, so it's going back for the tower that he left.
I remember what I said before. Crit could potentially deny this. Hex deny. Then tower gets denied by Fear. At the same time, Mind Control held up, starts running forward to try and chase down with a roar. It's on to Kuro. So Samel, Fear, and Crit have to work together against Mind Control, but the ET stomp up the purification of Mind Control. Gets 1 kill return. 1 for 1, even if the tower get traded out.
Some moment of hope there for EG. Looked like they were about to get a finger of death and a stun off on Omni, but great rotation from GH. There at the right time to absolutely save his friend and give the turnaround. So he's in relic territory. He's got 4,200 golds.
Not too shabby at all. Got a medallion coming in. Yep. Roshan becomes more fun. Arteezy. That Lifestealer has negative 73.
LTP. Mind Fears almost got his Orchid as well, about 100 gold. So this could turn things around for EG as well. At least if they can silence Mind Control, amplify his damage, prevent the healing and the repel. But he's got all of his points and his skills here. He doesn't have his ultimate, but 4 points from repel means relatively low cooldown, high duration. If he survives the Orchid initiation or he's able to run away, then very high chance that he survives.
Misery's leaving. TP out of the top lane. You already spammed out the wave a couple of times. Yeah, there is no one from team who come defend the bottom tower, so it should be a tier 1 for tier 1 tower trade-off.
It's not bad. If you're behind, but I think EG's happy to trade.
Yep, let's get them close to level 3 Necros. They get a little bit more fight in the lineup, middle lane. Oh, they have enough to bring down Omni. Continuous stuns, and there's that Orchid. That's the only way EG was going to get the kill onto that Omni Knight.
Yeah. It basically means that all the spiders do damage, finally. They can't do that normally, because 1 nuke is going to be gold, but if you silence, no nuke, and they can get it.
Money in for ET. Splitter as well. They can't run those spiders back. Broodmother just remains asleep. Crit was able to dodge it, but because he dodged it, he's down the wrong side of the river, and Miracle can mop him up. Fear begins his retreat, but bottom lane, Arteezy and Samel doing good work. That's that level 1 Necro book. Arteezy and Samel just working together, bringing the town 600 HP. Misery.
They might fight this.
In the neighborhood. They have a good vision thanks to the Observer of this down.
They'd love to get a kill here, especially if they can get Razor involved.
Either that or they get Omni to TP towards the bottom lane. And this will open up Fear to take that mid tier 1. And it's not happening. In fact, Omni TP's up to the top shrine. So Matubberman's defense will be enough.
And Razor's also going to go top to farm. I mean, his net worth is still pretty bad. He's somehow still behind GH. It's probably because GH is in at 2-0 and 5. But once he finishes a drum, it's going to make up for a lot of his lackings in the early game. And then he just needs to show up for some kills. But either way, good movements from EG. They do lose the line in that mid fight, but dealing this much damage to the tower is great. It's basically stretching Liquid a little bit thin finally between Brood pressure in mid and looking for Orchid ganks, one hero pressure on top. Looks like Crit's gonna die though.
Yep. Miracle catches him underneath the Radiant Observer Ward. The ET Spirit's there just in case EG brought support. The Tunnelman may be in a little bit of trouble on bottom lane. He has that Nova available. He's gonna have to get him off if they're gonna try and win this fight. Able to do so. Fear not affected by it, but Sumail definitely. Fear already found one kill. Moves over towards the Venomans and leaves the Brilliance to do the work. GH with this stop creates some space, but not enough. Fear is a double kill. Looking for the third. Going after the ET. He doesn't have a lot of life, let alone armor. Triple kill for Fear. And control will now arrive. He has the Radiance done. The bottom lane will be defended.
Perfect place for Fear to be. He's just been jungling here between the Ancients and the other camps, and then in case when the pressure is actually, when there's a good opportunity between what Sumail and Coddle are doing, he can show up very reminiscent of last game, except the difference is it's a Brood of Ember Spirit. So EG's doing a great job like fitting these templates of how they want to play the game into these different drafts. It's looking pretty cool.
They're looking for Team Liquid. The Lotus Orb with the quick buy for mind control. You have a Desolator for Miracle, so this could be either potentially Roshan, or they just want to have for cheap damage you can get into a Life Stealer.
He's the scary one for Liquid side for sure. I mean, the Radiance on Omni is great, but what EG's trying to do is they're either ganking him or they're just leaving him, walking away from him.
The mind control and now GA, so Fear understands that it's not worth taking, but he's underneath the outside of the webs and away from all forms of support. Cook gets the perfect Fiend grip and actually takes the killing spree for 498 gold. Crit will be able to TP out in time. Kura too far away to get the Nightmare off.
It was a pretty big mistake, a bit of a pathing issue basically. The ward on the cliff spotted him, but he walked outside of his web and didn't realize it. And in time, he didn't put a web down and got out of the way. As soon as he's Fiend's grip, he's dead. But those are the kind of kills that you can't afford. As you play kind of style, you can't let them gain any ground, and you have to keep trying to take opportunities.
They're going to try and kill bottom. The Observer Ward's still there. Beastmaster starts off with the Roar, and Crit just got called in, and he'll provide the extra to ensure the kill. Meanwhile, in mid, Team Liquid, the Desolator, great for removing off the armor, and this mid tower, well, it's not going to enjoy its life either.
Definitely the best thing to do when they get a pick off on Brood like that. I mean, it's not all bad for EG. I think they lost an important hero. They got some good stuff out of it.
They're going to be into the tier 3 towns. They want EG to be forced home. And Misery isn't enough. In fact, he's now starting off his recall. So friends are coming. Blinding Light will push Team Liquid away. They bring Lion forward. See, Lion knows his place as well. Chris just saving his money for a Blink Dagger. He has to be that jump initiation, which just doesn't really exist until Beastmaster gets his own Blink. But he prioritized Necro.
And Razor's shifting now, finally pushing out top enough. Liquid rotates over. He's aware of this, so he's going to go now hit the other side of the map. But all the towers that are left for Liquid are on the top lane primarily, so this would be
security.
A good place for EG to push in the future, but for and we'll see how it lines up with the Brood strategy. It's one of the negatives of losing the tier 2 mid is that before fighting a different lane than he's comfortable with, then he loses some of that setup time. Could really limit his mobility and his efficiency in between the fights. And yeah, he's prepping for Roche, trying to put webs in the right place.
Yep. He knows what Liquid need. Like, yeah, you take out the tier 2 tower. If Liquid grab the... They could take the outer towers as well as that last tier 2 on top, but they could also just barrel down mid before EG is really ready to fight them. Because the BK is still easy. It does not exist yet. The jump initiation doesn't exist yet either.
I think EG's relatively content with their position now, though. They're and Keeper of the Light's got Ags. But I still wouldn't count out Liquid in any way. GH is actually insanely farmed. The game's got and a medallion, and Bane's got enough levels to be really relevant. And Omni Knight's just getting tankier. He's got a plate mail. He's almost finishing his Lotus. I mean, balances aren't going to be a big deal. If he puts it on the right hero, he can counter Static Link entirely, and then the whole Razor versus Lifestealer advantage is kind of countered.
Crit, well, puts down the Observer Ward, and he'll TP out in time as well.
Good escape there.
Yep, but Miracle's got into Roshan. Gonna work with mind control. This is what we talked about before, though. EG are prepared. They've got the webs down. Is that Observer Ward, the sentry of Liquid, catching it out. Trade-off could potentially be bottom. That's level 3 Necro Books for Beastmaster, and Keeper of the Light can call him more. Having that Aghanim Scepter, it is a nighttime push, however, so it's not as powerful, but with the catapults, Team Liquid, they've got to do this quickly. Roshan is... But the damage to their tier 3 tower is quite extensive. They're not burning fortification at all. And now EG will pull back the units. They get 2/3, if not 3/4 worth of damage onto that bottom tower. And so now may go for more. He's here for the roll, able to get it off. There was no rage. The armlet is turned on the finger.
Nice.
They'll burn the Aegis to the Immortal. The creep waves control, but EG distraction and burn the Aegis. Not too shabby.
Yeah, it was a really good fake back. Again, they're scared to commit. Not the right word. They're not ready to commit. But even getting an Aegis trade like that kind of just offsets at least the next few minutes of obnoxious advantage that Liquid might have. Because if they have to deal with static link and killing, even if they do have like a lifesteal advantage right now, it could be really countered by the Aegis. So now Liquid has to go back to going for picks and trying to counteract the EG split push.
Yep. Get picks with that lineup. Like, is it just mind control running at him, hitting him with the degen aura? Like, because they don't.
Yeah.
There's no Yule set to build on the ET, so there's no Yules. The Bane Fiend's grip is kind of the only thing, but they're going to afford like a blink dagger.
Yeah, and him getting something like a Glimmer could definitely help, but it's still hard, right? It's difficult for them to catch heroes like Broodmother. The map control and the offensive beat is so a gank, but they kind of have to still be reliant on smart movements and allies, basically. So D-Ward in the map would be really good. Gems, things like that. If they could make sure their opponents don't have wards, if they have better vision, then they can pick and choose their fights better and make up for the fact that they're a little bit worse at initiating.
Matumba just trying to clean up some of these spiders.
I don't even know if it'll work.
Only, but the extra damage amplification of the Veil is a little bit nicer. There's that Lotus Orb done now for mind control. So they have an answer to the Orchid, but they don't have an answer to bottom. Samael as well as Misery are back again. Here comes the Illuminate spam. You've got the Satyr Hell Blaster, and by the time this TP is completed, Miracle can at least pop out with the Infest to kill a little bit of this off, but they still take more and more chip damage. Got it.
EG just lives in the enemy jungle. Solo heroes push. I feel like the hero they should be ganking on Liquid side is probably Razor. I feel like he's essentially been by himself for 23 whole minutes. And now he's finally got a BKB, but ganks that would have went on him earlier than that might, if he's trying to stop, maybe focus on the dual lane, perhaps a mistake. And it's almost daytime too. This is probably a window that EG might be looking for being a little bit more aggressive on kills.
Well, there's no reason why they can't just pressure up. Like, okay, yeah, Razor has his BKB, but he probably wants to get more than this. Force Liquid that bottom tier 3 tower. So if they lose that, you start losing shrines. You start losing that aggressive position that can get you back out to Roshan, can get you into fights inside your own jungle.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to have them soon. As you said, the BKB arrived, you just got a second one now onto Fear.
Essentially, this is the part where Coddle starts being a really strong hero. They're in the game, they have some kills, he can use map control, he can push out the lane constantly, he can pull cores that want to split push. This is a scary position for Liquid to be in, but I feel like they have pretty good control of the game. And they even have Fiend's Grip, even though Razor does that BKB to run away in times of danger, Fiend's Grip can definitely lock him down. So they have some tools here.
It's going to be gang time shortly, but Tubberman just bought a Blink Dagger, it's on the Courier, which is flying out over the top of Kuro's head. But they've got that jump initiation for... It's still jump in with Veil for stuff. So it's not like jump into Yule, so there's no extra control, or if he's unlucky, he's going to get orchided or roared when he jumps.
I think it's okay though, because if he just blinks and drops a Gale on Beastmaster and uses his ultimate, all they need is GH to sit behind and set up to cancel the TP with Echo Stomp. And they can definitely do that. Curl's wrapping around as well. They're not going to find it. They're just a little bit too late here.
Good map sense. No one's farming up in the jungle. They can see that with the Observer Ward. No one's forcing out any of the lanes, so everybody disappeared. Team Liquid. Just want to take these bottom towers. ET. Oh, no. Quick Misery is here. So is Fear. Instantly Hex. Instantly Orchid. You do get a jump into the back lines onto Arteezy. The BKB comes out. They have a lot of damage, but then again, so does this model of Books fighting for him. There was only one choice. It was Korra, the Fiend's Grip, to bring down Samael, he'll lose his life for a crit, the double stun. They protect him with the GA, but they're draining out the Mana Miracle. There's your roar up. He needs to kill off Fear. It's a 2-for-2 trade-off, but maybe a little bit too deep. Mind control, Mana linked up for Tumberman, blinking back into the front lines. They want to keep working, blinding light, forcing him back. Mind control, protected by the repel. Chris adding his TP, won't be enough time. Mind control with the purification gives them the damage required, and they would love to get more. Miracle's got no way to jump forward.
That's fine. He can just slap creeps. Mind Control's impact on that teamfight was insane. It looked pretty bad for Liquid at the start, with the exception of them dealing a lot of damage to Razor. But as soon as Omni shows up and drops Guardian Angel, EG stopped killing heroes, and there's still a lot on the back lane they had to deal with. Venomancer did great as well. Kept scaling heroes, kept forcing EG to semi-commit. And the Guardian Angel makes all the big difference. Beastmaster down, and EG's forced to play around weak disables and sort of okay damage.
Miracle just forces the issue and forces the fortification of Evil Geniuses. GH and Kuro are on their way. All 5 heroes from Team Liquid in the mid, but they won't continue the pressure. Brood is up in 22 seconds. Everyone else from EG is alive.
That team and instant kill on GH made that kill very easy. RTZ loses a lot of HP though, and Mind Control just jumps in, pops Repel, and gets in to impact the fight in a huge way. Keeps Miracle alive as Sumail is diving. Sumail gets killed. It's just a little bit
that Nova lasts so long. Like, how do you continue to move? Like, your BKB, it's like you need to have it twice over.
Yeah.
In order for EG to stand in these engagements.
I mean, Omni Knight really changed everything in that fight.
Yep.
He showed up, kept the one hero alive, and just pisses everybody down with a crazy slow of degen aura, 34%.
Well, we can come back live in just a second because we'll want to be doing that. Team Liquid have gone for a full smoke wraparound. They've gone through the eastern side of the EG jungle, while EG have just basically run over to Liquid's side. You were probably hoping for an engagement which would happen around the bottom tower so they could just keep pushing, and that EG are not obliging. They've got better vision in the northern side of the map, and they're going to hold around that position too.
Yeah, both teams just playing really well around where they expect their opponents to be.
It's still now going to become nighttime, so Misery not as powerful as he'd like to be.
I think he's pretty happy. I mean, he got Ags at a good time. He's got Ghost Scepter now, so keeping himself alive against Omni right clicks is more important generally than the Radiance Burn. But he definitely needs a Force as well, especially with the gem here. Force would help him stay alive if he makes mistakes. The positioning is still huge, and there's a lot of big threats on Liquid side, mainly Lifestealer, the core. Lifestealer, Veno, and Omni. All of these guys are hugely dangerous against any of these supports.
Do you actually like Broodmother going for a butterfly? Because I was wondering if Fear would need to go like higher disable. He's getting a lot of money, like something like Nightfire, for example, trying to keep the Omni. Is Butterfly essential so he can actually be a combat Brood?
Yeah, Butterfly is probably important just because it increases his damage and his attack speed. If you think about it, his ultimate is a big right click. It's 140 damage when he uses that. So he kind of just needs the ability to go toe-to-toe with somebody. Evasion, attack speed, armor, all of those things will help out heavily. So once he gets Butterfly, you might actually see him be able to kill tanky heroes like Lifestealer or Veno or even the Omni Knight.
Samael just down. He may really regret this decision. Then again, with the Shadow Blade, they have a sentry ward over on Kuro. Matumba is holding on to a small little care package.
He's gonna spot the Plague Ward behind himself. The gank that was.
The ward that can solo kill a ball.
Well, Trading Towers essentially has been done.
Yep.
It's very good that Liquid's been playing around the bot lane a lot. Since that tower got so low early, and good, there's no threat of losing their tier 3 early on. But EG's still posturing. They've got a pretty good position right now and potentially getting a kill mid, but Mind Control can just pop Lotus Orb if he gets Orchided. So it's got to be Disables and Orchid, which requires a lot of hero resources, and it's harder for those heroes to unannounced. It's going to be able to see where they are and if they're missing.
Tense situation for any kind of gank. Vision game has been probably the more critical thing we've seen of late. That's why the Observer wards for Team Liquid were around the shrine, so they would know just how many resources EG would commit. And it's like Mind Control's has been given a license to chase anyone he could find. Mid lane stun, there won't be a follow-up to this. Crit will be able to survive, but it is the reveal of the blink, and Team Liquid, they see Roshan up, they're going to go in for it. Now our second Roshan, EG. Not great webbing around the pit.
Yeah, I don't think they can contest this one. I think EG has to find kills on their terms, and ideally ganks. It has to be disables. That's why it's so hard to play against an Omni Knight here.
I think these spiders are actually trying to get down to the pit, but there's no web, so they can't get the pathing. They get stuck up around the golems and ancient golems instead. So, Cheese in the backpack of Mind Control. Miracle is the man to claim the Aegis Immortal in his defense time. Top lane's pushed in too hard. So is the bottom lane. And this is something EG's been very proficient at. Both the top and the bot lane is always being pushed in. Samael has been the man tasked with the bottom. Coddle and Razor up on top.
Even more degenerate grab by Omni Knight now. So 46% slow to any hero in melee range. And he's got S and Y, so this guy's super fast. Oh, they're gonna get a kill bottom though. Oh, okay, they got him.
Yeah, they got the Aegis Immortal, but at what cost? They got the ET split. That catch out crit. Samael's TP is just high enough away. He doesn't get affected, but the Nightmare, that's a nice pickup. It's gonna that global power that's been coming out from EG. And you're right, the Gem and True Sight now in the hands of the Lifestealer. This is problematic for the Shadowblade carrier Samael.
If that was just line, no problem at all for EG. Again, they're doing ganking him as soon as he ends up getting in the Aegis.
Okay, I think GH just took about 300 gold from one spirit.
Those poor spiders.
Poor spiders.
Eldertine's actually so good against spiders. They have high magic resistance, and he can reduce it to 0. So if he gets the stomp off, that's a dead group.
TT's adding pressure again towards the top.
He's got him now, especially with Gem missing.
This is stopping the easy push down mid.
It is daytime for 4 minutes, though, so it's not the worst position for EG to be in, but Crow grabbing that follow kill is certainly going to put him on the back foot.
Rage, swing and ding, and then back the hell up out of here. Arteezy can still potentially fight. He's already used the 4-star. 4 heroes from EG come to the mid, Keeper of the Light, TPing out towards the shrine, so we can recall and try and catch him off at the pass, but not going to happen. Instead, Liquid back up. Not all the way.
The Gale slow is way too big there. They couldn't actually commit.
Look how Lifestealer invests into ET. Like he's been using the Blink Dagger from Atomiman as the delivery service.
This was a defensive one. He's like, I don't want to be disabled right now, so I'm just gonna take an unexpected ride.
Well, ET Spirit, I suppose you take the ride in when he hits so many heroes, so many units. I can't wait to see this buff up on GH as Atomiman jumps in with a Shiva's Guard, trying to slow him in. Plus 342 damage on GH.
Oh my god.
535 movement speed. This is where they've got to be careful.
I mean, EG's in this turtle kind of position right now. It all kind of started with the Coddle on the line being killed. They just have the really strong map control, and it's going to take EG a bit to get control again, and it might just be without a Rax.
Yeah, it may be. Miracle just beats it down. Fortification will try and slow things up. The Illuminate spam doesn't really even reach the creep wave, so it's just Miracle standing in the front lines. The sheep government causing reactions from EG. But you got the Lotus Orb on Miracle too. Like he is protected as they take this Rax. EG has no answer. They had no desire, no answer either. Arteezy was still on the bottom lane. They were not going to be fighting this.
It's just so hard to fight an Omni Knight, especially with Lifestealer. EG used it last game, and they have Repel. So it's an even tankier, harder to kill Lifestealer. And their teamfight initiation is not the strongest in terms of an AoE. Oh man, look at that stomp. He saw the smoke, dude. His spirit, he saw the animation. What a crazy play. And the smoke is essentially fully confirmed. They know EG's crossing the map, so they're just going to sit back for a bit, avoid that one. On the bright side for EG, is get the opportunity to cross the map for the first time in what feels like 5 minutes, so maybe the game will go a bit equal, but they've lost a lot of net worth advantage in this small bit of time where they got that Aegis kill originally.
They need some kind of initiation. Maybe they feel like they can do it without TD. Just use Static Link on Illusion. Starting the fight at 280 damage plus would be nice.
He doesn't even attack that fast, though.
It's kind of the same buff the ET is able to claim.
That's a good point. One is a ranged hero, though.
Mm-hmm. Butterfly pick up
they might fight here.
They should jump forward. They know observers and sentries are out. They're getting rid of them all. Around, they try and get the kill into Atomiman. Lotus on the way. They keep him alive. The Phoenix Grippers on the brood. Now they break free. Can he? He's still stuck there. Now Fear. Maybe you can attack, but a lot of you take 100.
Oh, they can kill Omni.
Control. A huge kill to claim. Omni will go down, and so will the Venomancer. That healthy either. Kuro trying to create a little bit of space, but Miracle. Cheat is available. But Arteezy, he got a full damage deal once again. Miracle was at negative 208. He was doing nothing in that fight.
I'm actually so surprised EG even started getting kills there. It looked like the worst possible situation. They initiated, they used all their disables, and then the person that they went on ended up getting healed and saved. I thought the fight was over right there.
Yep. I kind of want to watch it again just so we can see like how it all went horribly wrong for Liquid. And it is horribly wrong. That experience swing, the gold swing, it's a 3-for-3 trade-off, but when you're this far, okay.
Oh, this is a big kill. It's got cheese though.
But yeah, you've still got cheese available. It's at least fear burning off the extra additions from Roshan.
All right, here comes the team fight.
Yeah.
They initiate over here. They jump on the Venomancer. This would have been a giant kill, but the Lotus Orb, the Repel, the Guardian Angel cost everything for them to save him. In the meantime, Arteezy stole all of this damage from Lifestealer, so Lifestealer wasn't dealing any damage either. And once the BKBs are popped, that means it's just Venomancer ulti, but that doesn't damage any of the important heroes. So they actually were able to out-team fight them just because Arteezy stole so much damage from Lifestealer, who is the big damage dealer on Liquid's side.
Yeah, Miracle just you see him on the screen, so it's like, I tried, but there's nothing I could do. He was at a point of giving life with every single swing.
And finally buying the item that would give him the solution without need of allies. It's the Lincolns. Oh, Cuddle's gonna get grabbed here for sure.
Yep, tries to jump up. There's your Fiend script. Even the ET's better. If ET want to fight this, they'll lose heroes, and they know it. Back up, they'll lose the extra creeps from the Beastmaster on the bot lane.
It's pretty bad
Team
for
Liquid,
EG.
do you just go up?
I mean, Liquid's here already, right? The whole team is here. The creep wave is pushed down the mid lane. Top lane is slightly vulnerable, but not in that bad of a situation. It's time to hit a build lane.
You Razor just bought the full Skadi. Arteezy's buying out to be part of this fight. No buybacks apart from the Beastmaster available for Evil Geniuses. There's your Hex over the lights, and once again Arteezy starts the fight, stealing a last chunk of damage. Only 87 this time, but a decent ultimate. Actually, no, it only got crit. It needed to get more than that by the poison. But Liquid still forcing the issue. Fortification not available for Evil Jesus, and they're gonna let the lane of Brax go. They know there's no fight to be had here. Team Liquid, second lane of Brax goes down.
And it's a very small mistake with Caudle getting caught there completely leads into this. If they have light, wave, if it was daytime, they would have been able to maybe hold that off. But a second set of racks falling at 38 minutes and a 15k gold deficit is really hard to play against. But EG does have good hero matchups with stealing damage from Lifestealer, but it's hard now with his Lincoln. Tough game.
You could also see the priority, like Matumberman as well as GH. The second they realized what was happening with Miracle, they forced after him. They got him the hell out of there. I don't know if Samel wants to do the same type of thing. He's rotating around the top. Does not have friends. Keep of the Light is further up the lanes. They would need Miracle to go for the next wave, and Samel's to then just Shadow Blade right now and get him behind him. Very difficult task as GH is sitting up there killing off an Observer Ward. So they know there's no easy line to these cores.
He really wishes I was there, because getting any kill on a support right amazing. He can also still split push the wave, which is an advantage, of course, is what Caudle's doing as well. Blasting the wave with an ability, if your opponents aren't watching the minimap or looking with their eyes, they might not spot it. So these kinds of split pushes are a huge advantage. And if anything, they've got creeps in the mid lane. Maybe they could kill the bot tower if they get past the tower a little bit. Very hard right now. Liquid's grouping up as 5. They're going to go for the last rocks, and you just got to defend this.
Yep. It can all come down to this defense right now for EG. You're so far behind, you don't want to fight up against Megas, especially as this is the fun game. Single elimination matchup is what we're looking at. The loser of this game doesn't go home, sticks around the days of play. ET Stomp perfectly onto Arteezy and Samel. No follow-up. Miracle just focusing on the objective-based gaming. They want that tier 3 tower gone, and they get it. He's around the side. They're keeping a very, very close eye.
It's so hard for EG to defend against this, especially at nighttime. If they have day, at least they can see all their heroes. They can pick good team fights, but because they're very disable heavy, it all comes down to their initiations.
Liquid 20 before they go in. They know Roshan can spawn up shortly. He's just under 2 minutes, about 1 minute 40 before he's going to spawn. But also the Courier's heading back to base to finish Matumberman's Aghanim Scepter. You have a Scythe of Vice on Elder Titan. Critical items are starting to arrive, and EG, they're coming to try and contest Roshan if it's up, but it ain't. Not there, but it is daytime. So they jump in. The instant Hex on mind control. If they can pop him right now, they get a chance for the tournament. He gets the jump in with the Aghanim's ultimate. EG, they're frozen gun, and with the Fiend script, nowhere to go for Razor. He stole the damage, but even with the BKB, Blinding Light cannot protect him. Evil Geniuses, they're on the run, and they're going down. 4 heroes lost for Evil Geniuses. This
Just amazing play by Liquid there. The Nightmare to buy a second for Mind Control there functions as a disruption, and instantly he's able to get his spells off, his items, stay alive, and then EG's hope for winning that fight was gone completely. Not the best place to find an enemy team, but man, Liquid has been very deliberate and safe at just getting farther and farther ahead in this game.
I don't know how they defend this at all. EG has already Mataman. Blink daggers up, looking for the kill on the Misery. Misery is coping every type of gun possible. Even the EG spinner will catch some mail and not bring him down. This should be GG. In fact, it is. Evil Jesus lose everyone on their face. For EG, but Liquid hold strong and take the series 2-1.
Inside the two semi-finals, Cap and Sunsfan are waiting, so let's get their thoughts. Cap, it was a great performance by Liquid, wasn't it? Is it much more what we expected from them? We've been waiting, it seems, the whole tournament for this kind of performance.
Yeah, they did a fantastic job. Setting up the laning phase was the most important part, being able to get the Omni Knight and how well he did against the Broodmother. And then on top of that, the fact that they managed to do so well with the Lifestealer against that Razor in the laning phase was also another huge win for them. So they pretty much dominated 2 out of 3 of their lanes, and the third one didn't even go that badly. If you don't have that kind of start, especially with the Broodmother lineup, you are very quickly going to start falling off.
Sunsfan, you predicted it.
I mean,
You're an oracle.
What can I say? I mean,
you are an oracle.
It was the reverse EG. That's what this tournament was all about.
You called it early.
Yeah, well, it happens from time to time. We're going to see some highlights here, it looks like. But yeah, you're right. The Omni Knight, I did not expect that to go that well. It is a good matchup. I think the thing about Brood, though, is you can't really move her around as easily as another hero, right? I mean, they've kind of remedied her inability to do that a bit, but still, out of all the heroes in the game, you can't just TP and just reset all your webs.
Yeah, it seems like the Broodmother feels like she kind of has to be mid in many situations because the way the webs start out, it throws over the whole entire mid lane, but in the side lanes, it doesn't give you that same kind of coverage. And then on top of that, because the initial matchup was the Broodmother versus Omni Knight, it's not like you can rotate out of that because then the Omni Knight's just going to follow you. You TP to the one in the side lanes, you try and get Razor in the mid lane against the Omni Knight, then Omni Knight's just going to follow the Broodmother, and you would just have this constant game of cat and mouse where Liquid's always chasing you. So they didn't even try and switched it up. They figured, all right, then maybe we're going to be able to win these other lanes. We've got this Razor sort of aggro dual lane situation into the Lifestealer. That didn't go so hot. It looked okay to start, but then it fell apart really quickly. Liquid just did so well in the laning phase, and then it was a struggle. You know, once we looked at it, it was like 15 minutes in, and there was like a 1K gold lead for Liquid. It just looked like it was over already. And then it was just a gradual... basically, Evil Geniuses had to be able to rat a victory out of this game, and Liquid did well to cover themselves. They never let that tier 3 get ratted out and kept their shrines up as well.
And the games we've seen in the past with Beastmaster being played by Sumail, he kind of just takes over his lane and just, in essence, the game in a lot of ways. You didn't really see anything like that this game at all. It just felt like there was a Beastmaster, a couple roars here and there, but didn't really feel like that was that much impact.
Omni Knight definitely keeps some of that as bay with the Guardian Angel and the Purification turnaround, and then on top of that, he's faced up against the Metamancer, a hero that you can't really get too aggressive on. Between a combination of the Gale and the wards, you can't really close that distance very easily. So Evil Genius is just not able to take off in some really potent combinations from them in the past. The Coddle Beastmaster has had a gigantic win rate for them. Broodmother in these later picks have been relatively successful. Less successful since maybe Katowice and now this tournament. Broodmother last pick seemed to be falling off a bit. His teams have adjusted.
Yep, and we made the point just before this game began, and once we saw the Brood, that's now 4 defeats in the last 6 when they've picked the Brood. I mean, we've never really thought of EG as a Brood kind of team in the past, let alone now. Nothing's changed, does it?
Well, when you pick the hero, I don't know how much it makes a difference nowadays versus the old ones, but you pick Brood, your entire lineup kind of, it just feels like it's one of those different heroes. You have to play